The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
Hey everyone, it's Antenna, and you are watching The DL Show only on Dave's Guitar Channel.
I am so happy to be here tonight. We're going to show you some magic, so I'd like you all to let go of all your preconceptions of what you think is impossible. Because tonight, absolutely nothing is impossible.
All right, everybody, we are back. It is Monday the 13th. There will be no Matt tonight. Matt is celebrating his birthday. Him and his wife are going out for dinner. But I do want to welcome Joe. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Krellbar, welcome.
Hey, hey, hey.
I don't know if you can hear what's going on. There are more planes passing by me today. Usually when I smoked outside, you could hear the planes. It's crazy tonight. The airport's actually working. And,
or they're just seeding the air with poisons to kill us all.
They're doing something. No, but I can always hear when they're dropping the wings, like the.
It's like an episode of the Y-Files.
Right.
That's a good YouTube.
Hecklefish.
I love hecklefish.
Oh, we love
Hecklefish is my spirit animal. You kidding me?
Let me get my tin hat.
Lizard people? Let me guess.
Yes.
Lizard people?
Fear the crab cat.
It's good stuff. I don't know if you guys are watching this channel on YouTube. It's called The Y Files. WHY.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on.
A great channel. It's a great channel. There's a great one about Tesla and the pyramids that I enjoyed.
I didn't see the pyramid yet. No, I sit down. The new one I haven't seen.
And there was also another great one where the Montauk boys, the CIA. I knew where that was going right away. I see a greasy gentleman with young boys. Yeah, I don't think that they're traveling time.
There we go.
There it is, folks. You got to check this channel out. Excellent channel, the Y Files. I thoroughly enjoy it.
He's got a better his videos are better than the shit on Discovery and History Channel.
It's great. It really is. He does have good production.
See 2 weeks ago when Hecklefist went fucking nuts with the Blondie song?
No, I didn't see that one yet.
Oh, it was fucking.
I caught part of that. Yeah,
I had to rewind and watch it again because I was
started rapping it. Yeah, the man
he's
from
doing
Mars.
the whole rap, and he goes when he gets to the don't stop, the guy's going stop.
Yeah, because they mentioned, some thought it was the Rapture, and as soon as he got that cue, he goes into the Blondie song.
Yeah, it's a great channel. Charlie S. Welcome. By the way, I didn't get a chance to say
yes.
Hugh Caldwell. Let's see. Jan's here. Excellent.
Yo, Jan.
John Taylor, welcome. And
Hugh was in the hospital, so it's good to see Hugh here.
He was in the hospital?
Hugh was in the hospital. I want you to think Fusili Jerry and Frank Costanza. Once in a lifetime, Doc.
Hugh, why was Hugh in the hospital?
No, it wasn't. He didn't get a Fusili Jerry up his ass. I don't know, but it wasn't a Fusili Jerry.
All right. Anyways, I want to say, guys, I am down to 178 pounds.
Ooh,
today is 129 days. Yeah, 178 today. 178.2.
What's
today?
The lowest you want to go?
I'm not looking for a number. I'm just trying to get my body fat to like between.
He's going to level off
Well,
at some point.
You're looking like I think you need to. You're looking at that. You're getting to that point where, maybe
I'm lean.
All right.
But no, I want to get. It's a body fat thing. Hey, Brad, I almost emailed you yesterday. I'm so glad. Brad, do you want to come on? I have I started a channel. I haven't posted anything on it yet. But I want to have it as a live chat, just talking about all the nonsense about what goes on. We talk about diet and how the government is just really fucked when it comes to talking about what's nutritious and what isn't. And then, just everything going on with these pharmaceutical companies. It's just insane. So I have this channel I started called The Polemics, where a polemic is someone that causes controversy and basically want to see how fast YouTube will shut it down. Well, very anti woke talk.
You know what?
But I almost reached out to Brad yesterday.
You call it The Polemics. I would have named it These Motherfuckers, and I would have gotten shut down before the first episode. Because polemic might, if we're talking about what you're talking about, any Italian from New York like me is going to start the sentence with "these motherfuckers."
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just insane when you think about, who he used to bother. There's a couple of guys that used to bother me on politics, and a bunch of comedians always have their head up their ass. But Jimmy Dore has lately come around and is starting to see the light. And Russell Brand is excellent.
Yep.
Russell Brand,
very intelligent guy,
very left-wing mentality, and really now is starting to expose shit for what it is. And it's fucking crazy.
And it got him kicked right off of YouTube because the truth is the one thing you can't.
They don't want you to know.
Debbie
Wasserman Schultz actually said to the guy who worked for who got files from Twitter. Yes, absolutely, Brad. And Wasserman Schultz is discussing ethics, saying, isn't it unethical? This woman had to fucking resign because of ethics. These people are out of their fucking minds. Out of their fucking
Gaslighting.
minds.
They're gaslighting. They project.
Yeah.
Too. It's they say you do this, do
Totally.
this while they're doing it themselves.
Totally. Brad, you should watch the Y-Files episode with the CIA and the it's the I think it's called the Montauk experiment or
Montauk.
something like that. It is fucking
More like
all
the chicken
thing comes
hawk
down to this guy wanting to
chicken
diddle
hawk
boys.
experiment.
It's really frightening. Hold on a second here. Can I send? I don't know. Brad
Send them a link.
I would have to send him a link. So let me just do this real quick. I don't know if he wants to. He didn't respond, but I'll send it anyways.
Well,
Brad.
he has shit post. What is that? Shit post Friday. This is shit shit show Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
No, I'm
tomorrow's-
telling you,
tomorrow's Tits
so I
Up
started this
Tuesday.
channel because my intention is to do live discussions, debates about it. Because the DL show, we like to keep it light, but I do want to talk like what really bothers me is nutrition and what's going on with that. And speaking of nutrition, I'm in the middle of working on I have a little side project. I'm not going to go much into it, but just have some supplement ideas that I'm going to be coming out with shortly. But anyways, it's so amazing when you talk to people and I tell them what they eat and they're like, oh, my arteries are hardening while I hear it. I'm like, you know what? Go eat your fucking oil. Go get your fucking, go to your doctor and complain that you're sick. You know nothing about nutrition. And we've been lied to for the longest time about nutrition. Absolutely lied to. I mean, when you sit there and you look at the Heart Association is telling you Frosted Flakes is heart healthy, but a steak isn't. The fucking
Oddly
world
enough,
is
they're
off
the
its-
last ones to fall. I mean, a lot of the medical community have, ditched the whole cholesterol thing, but the Heart Association is just hanging on for dear life.
They're hanging on because they have
The
skin in
whole
the game. They
fucking
got
thing.
paid by all
Yeah.
these food
At
companies.
the
and
turn
they
of the
keep getting,
century, they got bought out. These motherfuckers.
they got paid. I think it was 1948. They got paid from Procter and Gamble, a couple of million bucks.
Right?
but-
Yeah, Procter and Gamble. At the same time, they had all that shit that they sold as Crisco. They convinced the whole fucking nation that certain fats weren't good for them.
Right.
So
The
then when
fats that people were eating for millennia, when there was no diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and there was no heart disease, that is the problem. That's causing the diabetes and heart disease once they put the unsaturated fats, basically that fucking oil and chemical mess that they're selling as
And
vegetable oil.
other things like dementia, because you find out things like butter and all them good fats actually were good for the membrane of the brain.
Absolutely.
And now everyone's
100%.
insane in the membrane.
Yeah. And people are walking around depressed. I mean, everyone's malnourished.
Wow.
And, and the government's making money off it.
Yeah,
People are getting-
neurologically, you need fats. I mean, your myelin sheets, the thing that coat your nerve endings, like the insulation of your nerve endings. That's all fat.
Cholesterol's in every cell. You need fats because without it,
Yeah.
you don't have the hustler.
Okay, Minnesota.
Terrible. Yeah, totally, Elroy. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's come down to. It's like we now medicate for someone actually last night was telling me when I was talking to them about how vegetables are really not that great for them. She's like, yeah, but now they genetically modify them. That's what you want to
Since
eat.
when is
That makes it worse.
That's what I said. I go, that's what you want to eat? Like you're going to take that over the natural foods we would like program
Well,
to
corn,
eat.
It's genetically modified.
corn. They've modified corn for years. I mean, like back when we were kids, they'd have the hybrid seeds that's genetically modified to get as many ears of corn.
Yeah, it's
on the
been
crop.
terrible for you for years.
Zim,
Yeah.
how you doing?
Guys,
I mean, not to be
I'm doing
disgusting, but
good.
you know
Oh,
why
look
they
at
say you have corn in your shit?
You can't
Because
digest
you can't digest it.
Yeah.
Goes right through you.
But then they say, "Oh, it's good fiber."
Yeah. Good fiber can't even be broken down.
Yeah,
I was on Reddit yesterday, and someone had a post on there in the stupid food. My friend's stupid food. It was a bowl of burger. He goes, he's having burger with butter, and I'm like, he's probably a lot better off with a burger and butter than whatever fucking shit you're eating.
Yeah. Let me tell you guys. So lately I'm down to one meal a day. My one meal today was at 6 o'clock. I started with 3 eggs with feta cheese, cooked in bacon fat. Then, look at Dane's like, no way. Then, fried mozzarella sticks in pork rinds, pork rind panko, fried in bacon fat. Then, bacon, dipping it in sour cream. And then whatever sour cream I didn't finish, had 2 cheeseburgers and ate them in the sour cream. Then I had 2 slices of cheesecake. 178 pounds today.
As you're listing all of that you ate, I'm sitting here like fucking Herman Munster in the Thanksgiving Day episode. You know, I'm a turkey, gravy. I'm about to fucking break out of here and go back into
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's welcome back Brad to the show.
Oh,
Yo,
just
Brad.
as the old dude's leaving, huh?
Oh, he's coming back. I think he's wait, it looks like he's running low on strings. I'm not really too happy with
It
that
looks
string
like
display.
they're in the same place. It looks like Brad selling strings.
I don't know. He's got a lot
Yeah,
of
no,
balls.
that's over. That's
Reach
somewhere
out.
else.
Reach
Yeah.
out. Yeah, exactly.
I
Exactly.
do need strings really badly.
Do you really?
Yeah, I need a string. I need to find a string sponsor, actually. That would be nice.
Message me.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know a guy, huh?
I know. Well, I deal with a company.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had DR send me some stuff a while back and Kalium strings, which I liked. So I could probably contact them back. I've just been too lazy to get around to it. But I'm getting to the point now where I've got so many guitars that are out of commission, and half of them it's because they've got bad strings, and I need to buy a bunch of strings to put on. All of
Right.
them. Well, how you
Yeah.
guys doing, man? Good to see you.
Good.
Dave.
Good. Been hanging in
girl.
there.
Yeah, you're looking
Didn't have-
good, man. I noticed that you had lost a bunch of weight. It looks like.
Yeah, I'm down from June of 2021 was my heaviest, and I'm down over 80 pounds.
Wow, man. Is
Yeah.
is my mic sounding okay? Because I
Sounds great.
Hey,
That's
sounds
on
fine.
my end.
I did not plug in my headphones, so you're probably still hearing an echo from my end.
No,
Well, we weren't hearing it. StreamYard was not fucking up for once.
This should be better though. Hopefully.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do a diet called the carnivore diet, and I went down a rabbit hole of have you seen a movie? It's called Fat Fiction, and it's on YouTube and it's free to watch, and it's basically how the government came up with the nutrition guidelines, and it's all bullshit.
I know a little bit about that kind of stuff, and yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
you were talking earlier about like Kellogg's
oh yeah,
like how
Kellogg.
the-
I mean,
the cereal magnates, basically came in and influenced the FDA to
Yeah.
change put bread as like the base of the food pyramid and all that.
it's so
The whole creation of the
ridiculous.
food pyramid was
It's
big
ridiculous.
scandal.
Yeah, so basically all I eat now I'm eating one meal a day because I'm so satiated all day. I wake up in the morning, I'm still stuffed, but I'm
Yeah.
basically doing very high saturated fats. I'm doing a lot of bacon, burgers, steaks. No veggies, no fruit.
What time
Butter
of
in
day
my
do you,
coffee.
what time of day do you eat? Do you fast?
I
for a
try
long
to eat
time
at
before
4
you eat?
o'clock. Yeah, I eat every 24 hours.
Okay. So it's a long time after you've awoken, and it's a long time before you go to bed.
Right, 4 in the
Right.
afternoon.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
the midpoint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the best.
That's smart.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
and it's
I don't know if you should keep that up forever though. There should probably come a time where you should probably go back to maybe 2 meals a day, but still space them out like far away from when you wake up and far
yeah.
away
To
from,
me, it's all about I'm not doing OMAD one meal a day for any other reason other than the fact that I'm not hungry. If I was hungry, I
Right.
would eat. I don't do it for the reason of like I'm trying to fast. That's not even a concern of mine. It's just that it's just easy for me to do one bulk meal, and I'm not hungry for the rest of the day. But I follow this guy who's a doctor on YouTube, a guy named Anthony. Is it Anthony Andrew? Something Chafee, Dr. Chafee. And he's been 23 years eating this way, but I don't think he does one meal a day either. I think he does 2. and it was easier doing 2, but it's just, I mean, I feel now it's
12 and
easier right
6.
now for me to do 1, just the way my schedule is, and I'm never hungry. Like even when I used to eat breakfast, I'd be like, I'm not hungry.
Breakfast often will drag me right back down.
Oh.
It's like I'll get
I
tired
know.
again instantly if I eat a big breakfast.
Right.
So in the morning, what I do is I brew a pot of coffee. I make a large cup with butter and coconut oil, and I go to the gym on that fuel.
With butter? You put
And
butter in your
coconut
coffee?
oil.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really? I saw
it's
some.
fantastic.
What was it? I saw is the guy you're following? Is he connected to those ads that I've been seeing on YouTube where it's like,
No, that's
you put
Tom
this in your
DeLauder.
coffee
Yeah.
or whatever it
The
was.
bullet-
Oh no,
Bulletproof.
that's what's his face?
But I think they were ridiculing.
Well, a
putting
lot
butter in
of
the-
so Bulletproof was a company that came up with it, but now everyone does it. You're talking about Gundry, Dr.
Maybe.
Gundry, who's always advertising. He is the worst though, because all he does, he's such a shill. He's just trying to sell shit.
Is that the guy who does the like not like the lost secrets of like your
Yes,
backyard herbal
the
medicines
lectin-
and stuff?
The lectins and all that.
There probably is some truth to some of that. Now,
Oh, yeah.
now, I will say this.
That's what's
My neighbor, he's really into that stuff. He'll like say, potatoes are nightshades, and he does.
Yeah,
he
I don't
stays
eat
away from
those.
tomatoes, and
yep. Peppers.
he's keeping up with all that stuff. I just ate a bunch of instant mashed potatoes, so I can't talk about any of this stuff.
I'll tell you what happened to me when I first stopped Nightshade, because I stopped Nightshade probably a year ago. All my aches and pains went away.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. And then I was like, all right, so that worked. And the thing with Dr. Gundry, it's not that he's not, you said some of it's true. A lot of what he says is true. Like he says, if you're going to, you want to be healthy, like having raw olive oil is good for you. But it doesn't mean you have to buy his $40 bottle that comes in a little
Dave,
thing.
You can get rid of aches and pains, though, with Percocet.
Right, exactly. Thank you.
Why would you bother? Like,
by the way, in case you guys don't know, Brad's working for Pfizer.
He's a carnivore.
Brought to you by Pfizer. God, did you?
Oh yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see that at the Grammys? That whole thing.
I did not watch
all the
Grammys.
memes. Like they'd make all the they did a whole cut of like all the woke moments in the last Grammys, which was just like, God damn, how does it? Can it get any more in your face than this? You know what I mean? It's like they're trying to social engineer the entire fucking world here, and it's obvious at this point. You guys are shoving this stuff in our faces constantly, just trying to engineer something that doesn't exist. It's like that's why I go after so much the thing that Fender does. Like, oh, so many women are playing thing. It's like, dude, you guys are engineering this thing. You're trying to make it happen. That's why you keep repeating this shit. And that kind of shit irks me. It was funny though that the Grammys, because all the memes were like, here's the satanic fucking, the trans person with the guy who's like out of the closet gay. He's a fat ass and he's dancing around in a
Sam
clown
Smith.
suit.
Oh, Sam Smith.
Yeah. Satan uniform basically, and it's like all fucking, it's like Eye of fucking Horus and and fucking just nuts. And then it's like brought to you by Pfizer.
Oh, that was fucking great.
It's frightening. Well, you know what? I love that bank that just got shut down there.
Signature?
Not Signature.
No,
it's
SVB.
SVB.
Yeah,
and
Silicon
SVB,
Valley.
they had announced that they were 2 million
now.
They were down 2 billion in the hole that they needed to raise money for, but they gave $5 billion away.
It was more like 13 billion. I thought that they were.
Initially, when they first started waving the flag, and then it got worse because everyone started pulling their money out. But they needed 2 billion to balance their sheets, but they gave $5 billion to some woke climate thing.
Well, their risk assessment person was a diversity hire. She was hired because she was a lesbian. Like a BIPOC lesbian.
But they were going to be in some big trouble because they have when you run something like this, you have a fiduciary responsibility to stockholders.
Yep.
Not to sit there and be like, oh, listen, but we really need to save the world. Save the world on your own time.
You're black. You're gay. You check 2 boxes, so you're hired kind of shit.
Right. or
Yeah.
we'll loan you money, whatever. It's just it's gotten to the point where it's fucking. I mean, good for them that they got their just what they deserve.
Well, I don't know that they did, because all the executives they parachuted out just like they always do. They sold out of a big portion of their stock before it tanked.
Right. Well, yeah, but so did but I mean, it goes down. They're on record. They
But
did
it doesn't matter. They're going to be on a yacht in the Bahamas
Right.
on record, so it doesn't matter, and that's the way it always is. So
It's a sick
You know,
world. And I'm
it is a
happy
sick
to-
world. And until,
Brad, I watched
some
your,
crazy motherfuckers start picking up weapons and busting down doors with hatchets, nothing's gonna change.
And the voice of reason has come out. No, I mean seriously though, it's too bad. It's too bad, but whatever. Anyways,
But I put up a community post a minute ago. I said, you know how we know that Guitar Center is not going under in the next 6 months? Jim Cramer hasn't touted them as the big investment of 2023 yet.
Yeah.
How does Kramer still have a job?
I have no idea. That dude gets everything wrong, and he still has a job.
yeah, I mean, on Guitar Center is pretty hurting though, aren't they? I mean,
They're
even
at
though
the lowest. I think it is the lowest now at a rating that possibly can be rated at Moody's.
it is.
It's at the bottom. Yeah, pretty sure.
I mean,
They just got deranked again the other day. They were, I think, one tier above, and I think now they're basement.
I got a phone call the other day, and I'm like, "Who the hell's calling me from?" It was like Illinois or Indiana, and then I listened to the message. Some guy from Musician's Friend, but it's like they're talking to me like, the way Sweetwater would call you out of the blue. Just
Yeah.
wanted to let you know I'm your associate. I'm like, my associate?
It's like, hey, we haven't touched
Fuck.
base in a while, and yeah,
When the fuck did I ever buy anything
Okay.
from Musician's Friend? I might have bought picks in 2004.
With Sweetwater, it's like a fucking
What's those
episode of
picks treatment?
Seinfeld. You wake up, turn over in the bed, and the fucking guy's, hey, it's me, Ed. What the fuck? It's
Yeah.
Ed from Sweetwater. Ed, get the fuck out of my bed, dude.
Hey, I'm just curious how that pedal train board is treating you. The one I got 4 years ago? Yeah,
Yeah.
just curious. You gigging? What are you? I mean, it's like,
do you need another power supply to go along with that?
Voodoo Labs has a new one.
Yeah.
I'm all set. Yeah.
It's probably smart business to do that somewhat, but you have to be very careful about cold calls and stuff like that. But I think if we used to drum up business all the time, kind of that way when I worked in the music store. I don't know if you guys ever did that, but it's like, some people you hadn't seen in a while or something, maybe you would reach out, like if because if you're not doing anything and it's like completely, there you go. He knows what I'm talking about. Some days, if you're just sitting there and you've got your thumb up your ass and you're paying, 3 employees to put their thumbs up their asses, we got to drum up something, get somebody in the door, or maybe, start calling some people that you know.
Right.
Say, hey,
But the thing is,
hey,
if
I
you were-
just got this thing and I thought you might be interested in. I'll give you a good deal on it. I know you bought one, or you were talking about wanting one or something like that,
or company wide, like a company like Sweetwater or Musician's Friend, they always have lost leader stuff, like stuff that they can get rid of that's just killing them.
Hang on a second. Hey, this is Sean.
Yeah.
Hey, you're on Dave's Guitar Channel right now. Say hi to Dave's Guitar Channel.
Dave's Guitar Channel, you rock.
All right. Oh, listen, he's got a good radio voice.
That's Sean from Scar My Guitar.
Oh, hey,
Oh,
man, what's
okay.
going
I
on?
remember that.
Live in the
Yeah,
same
car,
neighborhood.
my guitar. Right.
Yeah, man. Hey, Sean, I'll call you back, man. I'm on a podcast.
Okay.
All right, later.
So, you should be able to, like, if I were to call you and I was like, hey, I'm from Musician's Friend, listen, we're blowing out DR strings this for 50% off this week. Just wanted to let you know so you could be the first ones. That now I'm calling you for a reason.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, really? What are you selling them for? I need strings. Like if someone called you, Brad, because Brad just said he needed strings, and someone's like, listen, we're going to give you to you at 60 off. You're going to get them for $3 a set. You might order a case. But now you're glad he called.
There are generational differences in salesman's approach too. Like the guy who owned the store where I worked for a time, he had this real like It was old school salesman, like he learned his craft in the 60s kind of thing, when they were still going door to door or whatnot. It was kind of like Glengarry, Glenn Ross or something. It was like Mr. This, and he would be all formal with it. But I had like more laid back approach. It's like, no, it's like Pat, I think you misunderstand. You missed the mark on the current generation. It's like we're more laid back. A lot of us smoke weed. Do you even know what that is, Pat? You know what I mean? So he was a jazz guy too, and even though he was a jazz guy, he was more like American standards jazz, not like out here on the edge. He wasn't cocaine jazz, put it that way.
Fusion missed him.
Exactly. So he was more straight laced and conservative, and he had his sales stuff down. Though I learned a lot from that guy. For instance, like always. Not just greet a customer, man, but walk up to them and say, "Hey, how you doing? Welcome to my store." Shake their hand. Say, "Hey, my name's Brad. It's good to meet you. I haven't seen you in here before. If you have any questions, just give me a holler, man. I'm right over here." And just put it to them like that, and just a warm, friendly, and not just one of those, "Hey," or worse, don't say anything at all. That's the worst thing you could possibly do when somebody walks in the store. Do not do that when somebody walks in the store, man. There's been so many times I've walked in, it just felt so cold because the guy's sitting there reading a magazine or something, and you're like, it's like, man, do you even care that I'm here? Are you going to try to earn my business? Are you going to show me what's going on? Are you going to talk to me about your story? Where'd your store come from? How long you been doing this? Hey, man, oh yeah, I went to that last year. Let's talk about some gigs you do, or let's talk, strike up a conversation with people, and that leads to sales. Like
exactly, show an interest.
Yeah,
I would say probably like 3 or 4 times a week, somebody is walking around this store and they're like, "Hey man, how long have you been here?" And again, 3 or 4 times a week, I say, since about 11 o'clock this morning.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Awful.
Is that an AKG mic that you have? What you working with?
I think it is. Yes, it is.
I was gonna say, are you speaking to the back of it, or
does it sound okay? Hey, now, yep.
Is it a side or a top address?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
If it's an AKG, it should be a side address.
I'm in the back. Am I in the back of it?
Try turn it around.
Ladies and gentlemen, the music store owner. I have no idea.
Try it there.
I don't know.
They usually put it where the emblem is.
Try.
How's that sound? Is that better?
There, that's it.
There it is.
Yep. Yep. Try that again. What were you saying? I'm sorry, man. Oh, you said that you made the joke. You made the joke that. Okay, I got you. What all strings do you carry out?
I've got Ernie Ball and Dunlap and Fender and some Elixir and some D'Addario and a couple DR and some Dunlap. And
who's your?
We're only seeing half the wall. I see.
Where are you located?
I'm in Mesa, Arizona.
Arizona, okay.
Actually, I'm right down the street from Phil McKnight. So McKnight frequents his store all the time, and we're good buddies. So, but I got a customer that just walked in, so I'm gonna mute real quick.
Okay,
so.
Go ahead, do your thing. Yeah, no, but totally. That's like when they call you and it's just like, well, I'm calling you to tell you I'm your associate. Well, great. Well, thank you so much for letting me know you're trying to see if I need anything. Instead of like, like I said, it come across with like, hey, we're selling all accessories. We're blowing this out, or we're doing a deal on this. And then at least there's a conversation that could be had.
Right.
Because even if you didn't need that, you were like, hey, do you guys have this in stock or anything? But at least it's not such a bother of just letting you know I'm here. Hey, we're just calling you to remind you we exist.
Right.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. They did that to me one morning. I had placed an order. And instead of emailing me and say, hey, there's a problem with your order, the card you gave us is expired, they kept trying to call me on the phone. But they kept trying to call me when I was still asleep before I had to get up from work. And finally, one morning, I get up and I grab the phone. I said, who the fuck is this? Hey, it's me, Ed from Sweetwater. I said, Ed.
I think at that point, I would just hang up the phone and say, that's not.
Oh, no, I got it. He goes, yeah, that order. I said, wait a minute. You're telling me now there's something wrong with the order? Why didn't you email me?
Yeah.
He goes, and he went, I said, Ed, can you cancel that order? He canceled it. You had to hear his voice. The enthusiasm plummeted. Yeah. And that was the last time I heard from them.
Oh, lucky you.
Bye-bye, Ed.
So what was he telling you? He was telling you that the card was expired?
I think I had put an older card number. I had gotten a new card, so I used the old card I still had because instead of throwing them out, I always have a thing in my head. I'm going to get one of them punchers and make guitar picks, and never do.
Right.
Instead of emailing, say, "Hey, there's a problem with your payment. You got to give us a new card." They kept trying to call instead of emailing.
Right. And then they just guess at the time that you're available.
Right.
Which ends up
I'm
being
not
when
a
you're trying to sleep.
morning. My morning shift starts at 10 a.m. So I'm out of bed at 9 a.m. Eastern.
Musicians, man, it could be 4 p.m. You might not be up yet. You know.
Oh, it's crazy. The early morning calls.
Oh, I can't stand it. I just discovered that my phone had a sleep mode. It's like it's been wondrous.
Oh, always. Mine
is
always
it's like,
on
oh,
do
yeah,
not
it's like,
disturb.
oh, it's sleep mode. There's
That's
nothing
hilarious.
worse than getting an hour into a sleep and then you're falling into that dream where you just got to REM sleep. It's like I just got there and then somebody drags me all the way back out of it. Oh God, I hate that. And then you're up
Yeah.
for hours, you know.
I fell asleep
And then
so early last
an
night.
hour before you're supposed to get up, you're not off again.
Again.
And it's like 2
Yep.
seconds.
And then when you wake back up, you're so goddamn tired
Hmm.
that you just sleepwalk through the rest of the day. That's my big
Been there,
problem.
done that.
Health-wise is sleep. I cannot, man. My sleep is so messed up.
Oh, it is?
Yes, beyond messed up.
Yeah.
Can't,
Man, I've been
I can't
sleeping
get
like
to
a
sleep, and then
baby.
when I finally do, it always seems like some little noise or some house creak or the wind or something wakes me up, and then I'm up. You know.
Well,
As
I
soon as
sleep with
like-
TV on. If it's too quiet, I can't sleep because those little creaks out of the silence just keep me up all night.
Yeah, I do the brown noise on my phone, and that helps. But still, if something rises above that sound level or something, a lot of times, I'm straight up in the bed, like who, what, when, what, with my
I
gun
just got to be careful what I
and my
sleep
battle
too.
axe.
Yeah, so-
It's like, who the
last
fuck
night,
cares?
I got into bed last night at 11. I fell asleep immediately. I couldn't. I think I was in bed for 2 minutes and I was out. But 3 in the morning, I wake up and I think it's the morning. And I'm like, why is it still dark?
Yeah.
And I laid back down and fell right back asleep again. I was like, it was very strange because I
wish
felt
that's
like I
the
had
part
slept.
where I mess up. I can't do
I
that.
sleep to one of 3 things. I'll either play my doom metal radio on Pandora, or I listen to paranormal podcasts on Spotify, or it's Audible. But the books on Audible are like, Father Gabriel Ormoth, he was an exorcist, things like that. So I've had some interesting dreams, but I got sleep.
I put Columbo on when I go to bed. It just,
Columbo
plays.
is great.
Oh, for going to bed, it's the best.
It's got they knew how to set a tone in a television show back then, man. It's like
Best show.
and the Mancini soundtracks and stuff, man. It's just
Yes.
like take you from one scene to the next. It's
great.
oodoo-buddy, ooh, oodoo-buddy, oodoo-buddy, ooh. Yeah, and that's a good dream too.
I'm telling you, and then I also know when I wake up by what episode's on and what episode I fell asleep to, how far I've been. It's because it's like an hour and a half every show. So I'm like, 4.5 hours. That's all right.
You really,
Go back to
Dave.
sleep.
I've got to introduce you to my wife, man. She wrote her dissertation on Columbo.
It's the greatest show ever.
Yeah, and it's actually really fucking good. I told her, I was like, this is a masterpiece. It's like we need to make a video out of this, like a documentary of Columbo out of this dissertation. It's
the greatest show ever.
Her big theory is that Columbo he kind of takes on the I forget really how she put it, but it was kind of like how the Rime of the Ancient Mariner has its soothsayer and stuff like that, and it's almost a transcendent sort of ghost-like figure. Like Columbo is he represents the there's a classism in every episode. First of all, it's like there's always the rich guy who drives the Jag, and then Columbo comes along with his working man coat, disheveled.
His Peugeot.
Didn't he have a Falcon at one time too?
What's that?
Would you like to?
Didn't he
try
have a
one
Ford
of-
Falcon at one time too?
No, he was always drove
No,
Peugeot.
always drove the Peugeot.
Yeah. But
Bugatti.
it's almost that he represents what is
Like the working class.
Well, no, like almost death itself, like the death of the ego, like people who have to have their ego destroyed and be cut down to size, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
because he
one of the-
carves them apart. It's
Yeah.
like,
And it's always like somebody who wants to match wits with him, and they think that they're better than him, and it's like this really
yeah, especially
arrogant.
Shatner.
All of them, every single one of them. That's their big flaw, personality flaw, is that
There's a
they-
there's a great thing I read that said that Peter Falk, when he was interrogating or asking people questions, would pull out pieces of paper that was his personal stuff. Like he pulled out stuff and he'd be like, and they'd be looking at him like waiting for him to deliver the line. And he'd be delaying just to get them more anxious because he thought it looked better on camera that they'd be. And then he'd be like,
Falk's a
"What's this, Mike?"
genius.
He'd be like, "Is this my gas bill? I got to pay this later." And put it back in his pocket and go, "What was I saying?" And they're like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Yeah. And he was kind of method in a way. Did you ever see the John Cassavetes movie? What is it?
Brothers, husbands and
No.
wives.
Not husbands. The woman. Fuck. What is it called? Cassavetes. It's the woman.
Cassavetes also plays the
interrupt
killer
you.
in Etude in Black.
Well, they were best friends, those two.
Yeah,
Cassavetes.
and the other one too with them.
Woman
Ben
Under the
Gazzara.
Influence.
Oh no, I never seen it.
You haven't seen Woman Under the Influence? Okay.
1974.
Listen, it's the most. It is a must see. If you're into films, it's a must see. For the first hour and a half of that fucking movie, me and my wife were cussing the guy who recommended it. Okay, like what the fuck does this guy think? Who does he think we are? This is the dumbest fucking thing we've ever seen. It's like, this is fucking stupid. When does this fucking get better? When does this get? Oh my god! And like at one point, it just boom,
Yeah.
and the whole thing, it makes you question, like, who am I? If I thought cinema was supposed to be this, like, and I wasn't,
Right.
it's like now I'm questioning what I thought cinema was supposed to be now. It's like, okay,
That's almost like
this is
You
like
remind me of the
another
first
level.
time I watched Rear Window from Hitchcock.
Yeah.
I was like, "Get the fuck away from the window and get a movie going here." And then 3/4 into the movie, they pull away from the window for a second. I'm like, "Where the fuck are you going? Get back to the window."
Move
That's with
over
Jimmy
to
Stewart,
the
right?
window. Move
Yeah,
over
Jimmy
to the
Stewart,
window.
Grace
Yeah.
Kelly,
Yeah.
Raymond Burr. Right, Raymond Burr's in the garden. They go away from the window. I'm like, "He's out there. Get the hell back to the window."
But no, man, there's this scene in it where Gina, what's her name?
Rollins?
Rollins.
Yeah.
That's it, Gina Rollins.
That's his wife.
Oh, it's probably the most brilliant
Yeah.
scene ever committed to film, and it was.
She's
one of those
also in a
things-
great Columbo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She was in. I think a couple of them, wasn't she? She's several of them.
Well, she's in the one where she's in a wheelchair and she's married to the German guy, Otto something.
Okay.
And then Cassavetes is the conductor at the Hollywood Bowl,
Yep.
and he's and his wife in the episode is Blythe Danner, who happens to be pregnant during the filming of that episode of Columbo with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Interesting. But yeah, there's this one scene in that, man. You got to see it if you haven't seen Woman Under the Influence.
Oh no, I'll check it out. You know, he was a complete alcoholic himself.
Watch it. Oh yeah, I'm sure they all were.
Well, I
But
think
you
he
had
died
to
of
be-
cirrhosis of the liver at a young age.
The way that this movie was made, though, it was made like an art house film, and it just is maddening to the core for the first, like I said, hour and a half or whatever. And then there's this one final scene where everything just explodes and comes together, and it's like, holy fucking shit. This is the
Yeah.
greatest thing I've ever seen. This is art. This is like what
Yeah.
we're all supposed to be here doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is it. This is the essence of fucking humanity right here, man. It just fucking grabbed it. It's like, this is genius. You know, it's one of those
Excellent.
things.
I look forward to it.
Everything I've ever thought was genius, I first hated. Everything.
Yeah.
Because it challenges me that much. It's like, okay, it has to challenge me. It has to assault my ears or my senses in some way and just
Right.
make me think, what the fuck am I looking at here? What am I, you know what I mean? Like some of the greatest art that I've ever stood in front of, has been like that. It's like, okay, I like this, but I'm not sure why. Why do I like this? And it's like you start dissecting why you like something, and then you realize, I know why I like it, because it's making me think all these fucking thoughts. You know, it's making this happen. You know, that's what we all need to be here doing, is making people do that. You know.
And just a side thing on the episode with Gina Rowlands, that's when Columbo goes to the art gallery and he thinks that the vent is a piece of art. He's like, and how much is that?
He was like, how much is this?
She's like, that's a vent.
Yeah. That's classic.
I disagree.
My favorite Cassavetes role, he played 11 in The Dirty Dozen.
Oh, Dirty Dozen. That's one of
Cassavetes.
those movies I can always watch.
And 11 was that fucking, sour prick. Then, when everyone had to say their name, he just screamed, 11!
Was he a bomb specialist in that? Or am I misremembering that?
That's a good one. Was he a bomb specialist? I'm trying to remember the beginning when they're going.
I know
over
Telly
that.
Savalas played the fucking nut job.
Yeah,
in
I'm
that
seeing
one.
his face in
Maggot.
my mind,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking that he was the bomb specialist for some reason.
Let me see.
Yeah, but Cassavetes, did you see that movie Husbands? I couldn't even get through that.
Yeah, but I think that's another one that's like, it's one of those you have to stick around for. I did watch the whole thing, but it did not leave the same impression that Woman Under the Influence did.
And Ben Gazzara was in that with them. Those three were really good friends. I'm
They were
trying to
real
think of
close.
what and Ben Gazzara directed a bunch of Columbo episodes. I'm trying to think if he was I can't remember. Yeah, it's the greatest show. Krellbar and I were talking the other day about we went out for a cigar. We were talking about 80s bands. You guys into bands from the 80s?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And what was the question you posed to me, Krell?
Yeah, the best 80s band, but they had to have had their first release in the 80s.
First release.
So
in the 80s?
that gets rid of, Van Halen and ZZ Top.
Yeah, ZZ Top, just in the nick of time, right? They came out in 72.
Are you thinking in terms of like, what's the criteria? Musicianship or songwriting or both? Or
No, your personal favorite. What you think is the best bands to come out in the 80s? Best band in the 80s and the 80s.
It's interesting because Pantera would be kind of on the list for me, but that's because of what they developed.
Yeah, that's
into
true.
Later.
It's like, they came out with the Metal Magic or something like that in 87.
Yeah, that's the greatest album cover of all time. Rat was a great band for me. I love Rat. Cinderella. They had good songwriting. Cinderella, I thought, especially.
I think for the hair metal thing, they were a good rock.
They weren't really weren't really hair metal though. That's the thing with them. It's like
Hugh has that guitar.
Oh yeah.
What are you selling that for?
Lots of money. I have it at $1,000.
All right. The Cars Martin came out in 78. So the Cars would know. So me, because my first inclination was instantly my mind went to The Cure. But their first album was 79. But I'm like, to me, they were the 80s. And Oingo Boingo.
I mentioned the Pretenders yesterday.
Pretenders' first album was 1980.
I'm going with my
Even
hometown
Devo
boys.
was late 70s, right?
Anthrax.
Late 70s.
They were 78.
But I said like Cocteau Twins, and what was the other one? The Smiths. I loved all that. To me, those bands had more than the metal stuff in the 80s. I found a lot of the metal 80s was like, I mean, Maiden is probably the best 80s metal band.
But it, again, formed in the 70s.
Anthrax.
But first album didn't come out till 1980.
True, but still formed in the 70s. So I don't know.
Yeah, the Criteria was first album, basically.
Oh, I got you.
Because they're basically unknown to the world.
Then it almost has to be. It almost has to be Iron Maiden for me. Then,
yeah,
they're one of my favorite bands.
Well, Maiden.
Janice Lala says ABC. That's another one I brought up. I think the Lexicon of Love album, and I also think the two albums from Men at Work should not be ignored. Cargo and Business as Usual were fantastic. Yaz is another. Upstairs at Eric's is a great album.
Mr.
And
Bungle
who was the
formed in the 80s.
Oh yeah, I love Mr.
I
Bungle.
love Mr. Bungle.
Disco Volante.
But again,
That's my favorite
they
album.
were- they became Mr. Bungle in the 90s, really.
Yeah.
Who's the guy from Yaz who's the partner to Alison Moyet? He did Depeche Mode. He started Depeche Mode. He started Erasure. And he did Yaz. What the hell was his name? Somebody posted in the chat. I forget. Is it Vince something? Why am I blanking?
I used to actually
Vince
be
Clarke.
in a Cure tribute band. I would dress up like Robert Smith. I'd put the black wig on, the guy liner, and everything.
Thank you.
We were called Fascination
Nice.
Street. Yeah, that was a fun show. You didn't
Yeah,
have to
the
invite your
lipstick.
10. Sometimes you
Yeah,
didn't
the
have
lipstick.
to invite your best 10 friends to come and see you, because the Cure fans in town would come and see you.
Yeah.
I fucking love the Cure.
Which there were only probably like 10 of them in town, depending on the
No,
size
no,
of your town.
We did 186 people at a little bar. I still remember.
No shit. But
many
you're
people-
in what
I'm in
side
Phoenix,
city are you in?
Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that
And I
one.
mentioned
Funny
my
Man, too.
favorite, Talk. That was one of my favorite bands in the 80s.
Yeah, Talk was good.
Color of
I
Spring is
really
just a
like.
masterpiece.
Speaking of Talk, I really like Gwen Stefani's version of "It's My Life." I mean, that rocks. Yeah, it's great bass line.
Well, it was a great song to begin with. That's
What was the singer for Bronski Beats name? Someone said was Jimmy Somerville. He just wrote it. Yeah, Jimmy Somerville.
Did any of you like the Smiths?
I loved him.
He did. I was never really into them. I mean, I
think
could
the
dig
Smiths
the
are
music.
one of
I
the
couldn't
few
dig
groups
Morrissey. Morrissey
that
got on my
I don't
nerves.
think there's a bad song on any record.
I think like bands like that, the Cure, Smiths, Joy Division, bands like that. It's like it's kind of a lot of people either love them or hate them. There's almost never I could, well, whatever. I could take it or
They're
leave it.
okay. They're
It's never a
okay.
lukewarm, is it?
Right.
Well, that's why, like, I was so into metal, and then also, like, when my metal friends were like, "You listen to the Smiths?" I'm like, "They're fucking great." They thought I was crazy. I listened to everything.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so I mean,
Then
like, I was listening. I
REM
remember I
was big, and I didn't like them.
Who?
Guys, what do you think about the
REM.
Gin Blossoms?
Never
What do
really
you think
liked
about the Gin Blossoms?
Yeah,
I didn't think about them.
They didn't come out.
See,
in
you
the
didn't
80s,
think
did they?
about them very much, but the Gin Blossoms was a Tempe, Arizona band, and that song "Hey Jealousy," radio played that all the time. Nobody complained about it. Nobody said, "Oh, that's my favorite song," but nobody ever complained about it either.
People complain about it now. I
Yeah,
think there's
it's
actually there's YouTube videos about that. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah,
just the
there's
fact
like
that it was on the radio doesn't
how
mean
much
it was
they
good.
hate Hey Jealousy. There's like you can,
Their
look it up, man.
record company made the video 3 different times. The first time they put $10,000 to make a video for that song. Then 6 months later, they put $40,000 to make the second. Finally, they did. Oh, we're going to throw $100,000. They made the third video, and it turned into a hit song.
The band that
I
they-
love the enthusiasm of Dane stumping for his local band.
I know.
Hey, yeah,
They're from
it's
Arizona.
unreal.
I'm gonna,
But didn't the
Yeah,
original
right
didn't
down
the
the
original
street.
guitar player kill himself because he wasn't in the
did.
band? And didn't the rest of the band figure they should follow suit?
No, I don't think there was any other crazy things going on like that. Guys, I got a customer. Got to mute again.
Go ahead. If I was their manager, I'd be like, you guys should kind of follow in the line of Badfinger. Oh, you mean record Beatles sounding songs? No, I mean hang yourselves.
I think the question's easier for the 70s for me, like best bands of the 70s. It seems like because
yeah.
a lot of
A
the
lot
a lot
came
of the
up.
80s stuff, it seemed like it was moving more toward solo acts a lot.
Oh yeah,
the
70s
band.
is too easy. That's
Well, a
why
lot
I
of the
said
big
80s.
bands were, but it's so funny because think about how many 60s songs covers came out in the 80s that people thought were fresh. Like Tiffany did I Think We're Alone. I mean, Tommy James and the Shondell Alone. I Think We're Alone Now, Moni
Soft
Moni
Cell.
and Crimson and Clover.
Tainted Love, Soft Cell.
Did Debbie
Tainted
Gibson
Love was-
even get in on that? Didn't she do a? She
I
wrote
don't think
most
she
of her
did a
songs.
cover. She was doing original stuff.
Yeah,
Venus, Bananarama.
Deborah Gibson.
she was the superior of the two of Tiffany.
Yes.
And
Shocking Blue originally did Venus.
Yeah.
That's correct. The Banana Rama, they did.
Yeah,
he was
Banana.
really
Ram the Banana.
saying something. That's an old Velveteens Motown band song.
Oh, the Go-Go's were a great band. I like the Go-Go's.
Yeah, I like Go-Go's too.
Did you
We
know?
were just talking about
oh
that.
my
I like
God!
Jane
Did you
Weaver.
know that Belinda Carlisle was in? For a minute she was in the punk band. I think the Germs. I didn't know that.
She was?
Like the Germ,
didn't
like
either.
the crazy punk. These are the people who would cut themselves on stage and
Right.
punch people and shit like that. I think she actually was in that band for a minute,
That I didn't know.
which was strange. I didn't.
Yeah.
I think it was the Germs. I'm pretty sure, or the Circle Jerks, or one of those weird ass bands like that.
Yeah,
but I watched.
think this,
We looked up here. Let's.
No, I just
70.
rewatched that. The reason I brought them up is because I just rewatched that. The original Decline of Western Civilization.
part
The
one.
original one. You watch that again, man. That is just nuts. That Darby Crash guy from the Germs. He's
Yeah.
like so fucking out of it that whole time. He's like, oh, when he's singing, he's like, oh, and that's what he sounds like. He's so fucking out of it, and it's like he forgets to sing into the microphone. He's holding the microphone off to the side, and he's like, you can't hear him. It's nuts. And he was dead within a year of filming that.
Yeah, to me, there's only one punk band, the Sex Pistols. That's it. Everything else is like trying too hard.
The Ramones predated.
They're a
the Sex
pop
Pistols.
band, but they're a pop band.
I love the Ramones, man. They've got some really good stuff. It's like beat
I'm
off
not a
the
fan-
brat, beat off the brat with a baseball bat. Oh yeah, yeah.
Right, but it's still, whether you like them or not, like it's regardless of that, it's still pop.
Yeah.
Like Green Day is pop.
Green Day can suck a fuck.
I think Green Day is more of a descendant of the Ramones than they are of the Sex Pistols. The Sex
I think
Pistols,
Green Day is a
Johnny
descendant of my
Lydon has a
ass.
screw loose. And a likable screw loose. Johnny Lydon's out of his fucking mind.
I love him, man.
I do
He doesn't
too.
give a shit. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. And that to me is
Not a
punk.
single fuck.
He's not even trying to be. I mean, just his hook is "We're so
He has
pretty,
no-
oh, we're so pretty."
He
We
has
used to
no
cover that.
fucking, he has no allegiance to anybody.
Love him. To me, he's punk.
Yep.
That's what made the Sex Pistols punk.
Yep.
Like the
Yeah.
Clash is more like a pop band. I wasn't a big Clash fan. Misfits, I didn't care for.
I like some of the Clash stuff, man.
I like the Misfits.
I like the first Misfits album.
That was
Great
Misfits.
song.
Is that Danzig?
Lo-fi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Danzig.
Yeah. It's really not punk though. I mean,
No,
it's,
it's
you can
like
like it.
It's pop. It's poppy. It's
Yes.
still based on that 3-chord poppy thing with melody.
Right. Right. But it's hooky.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
there's
Yeah, the
something
Misfits
about the
got
Sex
good hooks.
Pistols that's like, fuck you and your hooks. They were just good songs. And they never had the crazy hook. Well, I mean, I wanna be anarchy. It's just,
Mhm.
oh, God Save the Queen, as Hugh sang. I mean, it's
Mhm.
the fascist regime. Oh, it's so
Submission.
good. Angry.
I have submission on a 12-inch yellow vinyl or gold vinyl submission, and I was at a show down here, and the original bass player, Glenn. Well, I had him sign it. Before Johnny Rotten joined the band.
Oh, I think I know the name.
No, Glenn, the bass player?
The original bass player, yeah.
That's before Sid Vicious joined
Vicious,
the band.
yeah.
Johnny
That's right,
Rotten's
you're
always
right.
been in the band. Sid was the one who
Right.
replaced him
I
after
got
they
it.
recorded the album.
I got it. Best band out of the 80s. Ween. Fucking Ween.
I like their covers.
their covers.
Those-
Oh, the covers of the albums.
No. Their cover songs.
Oh, their covers.
They do great cover songs. I mean, it's like they do a great cover of "Hey Bulldog," and they do "Ace of Spades."
For me, it's hard to beat Oingo Boingo. I was a big Oingo Boingo fan.
None of you guys are young enough for Ween. I don't think you didn't hit your
Push Up the
adolescent
Daisies, is that
pride.
Ween?
Band?
with Ween.
Is Ween pushing up the daisies?
Ween.
Is that pushing up the daisies? Is that their
No.
song?
No, they
Is
did
that a
never had a
local-
radio hit. I don't.
Is that a
think, really.
local Kentucky, Tennessee band or something?
Someone look
No,
this up. Who did pushing up the daisies?
No, this Chicago, aren't they?
no,
It
they're
wasn't
from
Ween?
Pennsylvania.
I'm pretty positive it's Ween. Didn't I have a whiny little mousy voice?
WEEN.
He's got bug eyes.
Their biggest album was the Mollusk and Chocolate and Cheese from the 90s. But they never had really any radio hits. You have
They
to
had a
actually
hit.
dig into their catalog.
Yeah, they did. They had that one song, "Push Up the Daisies." Wasn't that them? Am I going crazy? I knew
can't
this
remember.
song from the radio,
Oh,
and it's the only time I ever heard Ween.
Don't think so. You might have heard "Voodoo Lady, shaking that stick, driving me crazy. Your eyes are red and hazy. Doing the stuff
The
that you
Little
do.
Daisies. Ween.
What is it?
Push the Little
Messing me up with your
Daisies.
voodoo.
Push the Little
1992,
Daisies. There it
What,
is.
what album was that on? Because
It
What's
was
it
on
on?
Pure Guava.
okay, yeah, that's the one I never got into. I never got into that album.
Okay, that was on the radio all the time because I was like, "What the hell is this band, Ween?" I was like, "Push the Little Daisy," whatever the hell he says after that line. I have no idea, but
Yeah, I never got into that album so much.
it was on the radio.
I
for a
picked
bit.
up with them on Chocolate and Cheese and everything after that. But they were a great
Crazy.
band.
Yeah. They you know what they remind me of? It reminded me of when I heard that song. Who does Birdcage in Your Soul?
Isn't that They Might Be Giants?
Thank you.
I
They
love
Might Be
them.
Giants.
That's a great album.
Don't let start. This is the worst part. I believe. Remember that song? Don't let start from They Might Be Giants. That's my it was Istanbul, now it's Constantinople.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
great one.
Particle Man.
Very
Particle-
eclectic rock music. I love it.
Yeah, that's what Ween reminded me of that, especially the voice of that guy too.
A lot of it was just sardonic. They never took themselves very seriously.
Yeah.
But, that's what I love about it. It's half comedy, and then when they do get serious in a song, it hits that much harder. You know what I mean? It's not like Bono taking himself seriously all the fucking time. You know what I mean? And you can't stand it for that reason. It's just.
But yeah, we mentioned U2 the other day as far as 80s bands go, and I'm like, I think the last great album they did was Achtung Baby, which was 90. But they went from very good to unlistenable.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, really, Janice? That's funny. It was Istanbul, now it's Constantinople. It was yeah, that's
About 6 months ago, the lead singer of Wang Chung came in my store and bought a gain pedal from me. And so it kind of took me down the Wang Chung rabbit hole.
Dance
Watched
Hall
a couple of
days?
their videos. Yeah.
Take my baby.
Everybody
by
went
hand.
Chung tonight.
Right. They were pretty
guys
That's the only
watch-
song
did
of
you
theirs
guys-
I know.
Oh, they did Dance Hall Days. And the Dance Hall Days.
Oh, that one too. Yep.
You would
Yeah.
know it if you heard it.
To Live and Die in LA. That was another
Oh,
big
and then
one.
they had Let's
Yeah,
Go.
I may know
They had
some
that
other ones.
one. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Come
Who did
on.
the You Can Dance If You Want to?
Men Without Hats.
Oh, that's right. I love them too.
What's
And
that
hats
called?
you can
The
replace with
dance
talent.
song, or
Yes,
the safety
Safety
dance.
Dance.
Dance,
Dance.
yeah.
They dance. And they always make me think of Men at Work, who I love as well.
I agree with Dom Hall. Unforgettable Fire was U2's best album. I always bounce back and forth between that and Achtung Baby. But I do think Unforgettable Fire is fantastic. Really fantastic. Not the best album of that year, but it was still, they were great.
I still have that atrocity of a top 10 bassist list from last week. I say,
Oh, yes, we got to do it. So Brad hasn't been here for a list.
oh,
Brad, what we like to do on this is we find lists that people post of like the greatest, and we just get a bunch
Just
of
rip the
laughs
shit
out.
apart.
Well,
All right.
just to give you an idea, last week the top 10 guitar player of all time, I think Kirk Hammett was in that top 10.
always
And
above
Sylvester was
David,
in the
above
top
David
10.
Gilmour. He was above Gilmour, and he was above. Who else was he above?
He wouldn't even be in my top 400. I don't know how the hell the guy's in that list.
It's
Well,
a
there is
popularity
the-
contest. If they're trying to sell magazines, that's
Yeah,
There's
or
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. We haven't done that one, have we? From a month ago.
who got inducted this year? Wasn't it
Didn't
Pat
Iron Maiden?
Benatar or?
Is Maiden finally in now?
No, I
they
don't
are.
think so. I don't. Did they get nominated?
I think they got nominated. Yeah, I think.
Oh, that's right. Kirk
The
Hammett
call.
had beat out Brian May and Tony Iommi.
Yeah.
It's absurd. He should not have even been on the list. All right, let's see what we got for bass players.
Okay, so
You're a bass player fan, aren't you, Brad?
A bass player fan?
Yeah, you like bass. I mean, you're
I
like
fucking hate bass. I hate bass players. I'm a treble guy through and through. Fuck bass.
I don't even like a piano player's left hand.
Yeah, exactly. I'd chop off all their left hands.
Even though the bass player does have the hold down, the foundation of the entire song.
We
If the
forgot to
bass
tell
player
you,
doesn't go
Dane
to the
is a bass
bridge,
player.
the song is over. Okay.
now the best
What's that
thing
band that doesn't have a bass that Jack White plays in?
White Stripes.
Hold on, I got my buddy Jerry's
Blunderbuss.
here. Jerry, welcome.
Gary, how you doing?
Hello.
Hey,
I
Jimmy
don't get
Dave.
it.
Good.
Blunderbuss. Is that it?
Blunderbuss? What is that?
The name of Jack White's band without the bass?
Oh no, I was meaning the White Stripes, but it's just him and the girl on drums. There's no bass. That's why I was just.
Oh, I wasn't sure if they had a bass in Blunderbuss.
She got a-
Oh, I have no idea.
She got a nice set of toms.
But
Yeah, Butterface though.
The best thing about this list is it has contenders. And when you see some of the contenders, you're like, how did the other one get on the list? And that's a contender?
I
All right,
bet you
let's hear
Bill
this.
Wyman's on it probably.
no way.
All right, let's start.
No,
with
I'm not
number
saying
10.
I agree with it, but watch.
No, I
it'll
know.
probably
I
be
don't
on
think
there.
anyone's that crazy.
Number 10 is Roger Waters from Pink Floyd.
I think David Gilmour would like to say that he played probably more of those bass lines than Waters. In fact, I've read articles where he's claimed that.
Probably has.
That's a reach.
I think all the fretless bass work on Pink Floyd was
But when I saw them live and they did Time, and he did that, he did like the clock ticking kind of noise on his guitar, on his bass. He's got a good meter to hold that down like that. I saw him do that live.
I know a guy, a friend of mine, who he puts him at the top of his bassist list, but that's just because he's a huge Pink Floyd fan.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take out songwriting and stuff, as far as just skill on the bass and writing a bass line, I guess if you wanted to look at it like that, I don't know if I'd put Roger Waters on my list at all, really,
No.
for that.
No.
No, and I'm a
So
huge
sick.
Floyd fan. Huge.
Yeah.
He's not on my list.
Yeah.
I've never
He
once
did do
listened to
some
a Floyd
fretless
record going.
stuff too, though. You got a Hey You and there was some fretless stuff.
Well, that was
he
what it
did
was. It
too.
was from Hey You. They were asking Gilmour about Hey You, and he made a comment which alluded to the fact that Waters didn't play that Gilmour did.
Oh, that was a fretless bass on that.
Yeah.
It's funny. Back when I did a bunch of recording, my longtime friend at the time and bass player, we would always jam, and it was fine when we were jamming, but when it came time to record, it's like you tried to lay down these certain lines and you had this idea of what you wanted the bass to sound like and the tone, and you needed it consistent, like your pick attack has to be in the pocket completely. It's like, dude, you got to bring all of this back down to completely the pocket, and we're gonna have to throw so much compression on this.
Yeah.
To keep
When you go to
any notes
record,
from
that's how you
popping
know.
out and all this, and it's like, and at a certain point, it's just like, okay, give me the bass. You know what I mean? It's like
when you go to record, you
I-
definitely separate the men from the boys, and people
Yeah.
don't realize when you play, it's like, there has to be a semblance of the tone has to be the same. Every hit
Yep.
should sound pretty close, and there should be a dynamic, but it should be the flow of the song.
Absolutely. And I'm talking about somebody who, I mean, this guy could play. I mean, he can
Oh,
play
I know.
still to this day. I mean, a great player. I mean, he could do some crazy shit. And he's so ambidextrous and stuff. He could probably take the bass off and play it fucking left-handed and stuff. You know what I mean? He's that good. But he's just, you know, it was always either try to do too much or get the dynamics wrong or some
Right.
small. It might seem nitpicky, but it's like, dude, if this song is going to work, it has to be like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you hear that with drummers. And I want to say this because I've brought this up when we talked about ABC. I was watching a thing about the band ABC, and I always wondered why Dave, why am I blanking? David Palmer left the band because he later played with the, by the way, another one of my 80s contenders. He played with the, and now he plays with Rod Stewart. He came into my store one time, and I started talking about the song. He goes, "Hey, let me show you how I played it." Started playing drums. And you'll appreciate this, Brad. The second he started playing, I'm like, this fucking guy's amazing. It sounded like a recording of drums. Like you wouldn't have to put any compression on them. Everything was even. Every hit was the fucking same. I'm like, this guy's making a record right here.
Somebody who knows what they're doing, man. And that's what I've been working on like the past year. Is like trying to get my touch and everything. Where it's like, I'm not exerting all the effort like as a rock drummer. You know, you see these rock drummers who just hit on everything like they're
kind of look like Keith Moon when you.
I was just gonna say,
it's like they're beating their ex-wife or something, you know?
Yeah,
it's just like, dude, go easy on it and bring. There's a drummer on. If you're into drums, man, there's this guy Rick Dior here on YouTube. Look him up. He is.
Oh, he's good.
Fucking nomical, and I think he's from your neck of the woods. I think he's from like your area, Dave.
Oh, okay, Boston area.
Jazz drummer, and fucking just. I mean, he really is up there, man. With
is that the young guy?
No. No, you don't get this good, man. Being young, this guy's got decades on him, and he's fucking amazing. Rick Dior, look him up, man.
But Dom Hall says Palmer's amazing. Palmer is effing great, just great. And like I said, I've worked with a lot of great drummers. I got to play with some of my absolute heroes. When I watched him play, I was like, this fucking guy's so much better than people know. He's so locked in. Joe just posted the Rick Dior's channel on in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. Because you guys all should go check this dude out, man. You want to talk about it, and somebody who makes it look so effortless. And man, a drummer that great too just elevates your playing. It's like you have to step up.
That's right.
A guy like this.
I always tell everyone I always want to be the worst player in the room.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Because you want a great drummer, you want a great bassist, you want to be like, fuck, I got to bring my A game.
If you have a great drummer and a great bassist, dude, it's like pressure's on you now, but in a good way.
Is that Rick Dior?
That's the guy.
That's him, man. He makes his own sticks and everything. And
oh yeah. He got a book called Broad Stroke.
Yeah, man. This dude is an absolute authority. I started watching his channel when I was starting to get back into drums, you know, and trying to learn and improve. And some of his sticking lessons and stuff, man, it's just off the fucking chart.
Nice.
Just really good. That guy is amazing.
What do we got for number 9 on this list, Joe?
Number 9 played bass for the Beatles.
Yeah, McCartney.
And that is Paul McCartney.
He's on my list.
Be on the list.
Absolutely.
He'd be on my list too, but I think he'd be a lot higher up on my list.
Yeah,
I think so too.
The fact that he could do those lines and sing at the same time too.
It's just,
but just the written lines,
the writing the lines to go from some of those chord progressions too, man. Like how you get from A to B, you know, and the way he did
great.
Always a bounce as well. Always a bounciness in how he approached everything.
Yeah, Silly Love Songs, great example.
Yeah. Oh, the bass line in that song's great. But you know what else I was watching too is I watch a lot of what's the guy's Louis Shelton, who played on the Monkees, and he played on the Jackson 5, and he was talking about.
I was about to say the Jackson 5 a minute ago. Who was their main bass player? Was it? It's that one of the Jacksons, was it?
No.
Whoever that was.
They used the Funk Brothers. It was
that's what I thought. Okay,
Jameson.
Jamerson or Duck Dunn was
not Duck Dunn. He was Stax.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was Jameson, and there was another guy. I think this was the other guy, but actually, I'm sorry. This when the Jackson 5 and 70 went to L.A., they started using different people, and they used Louis Shelton was one, and he was saying the bass line was doubled with the guitar, and then he plays the line, and you can hear the doubled line. And the Beatles used to do that a lot too. It's a cool effect to double a guitar to play the exact bass line. Really makes it stick out, and then Louis played the yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. I mean, you just gotta. If your head doesn't move like this,
oh yeah,
to that, you're dead.
The greatest. Oh yeah.
You know,
those guys were great. All right, so that was McCartney was number 9. Interesting.
Number 8, and I agree with a lot of the comments that are saying what not top 5 is a man named Terrence Michael Joseph Butler, known to us as Geezer Butler.
Geezer.
I like Geezer.
If you listen to his bass lines, man, if you actually, you don't think about Sabbath, you often might think that, okay, probably the bass is following the guitar a lot, but not on Geezer's lines.
No,
he's going off on all kinds of different directions, man. And mostly it's like blues bass lines. And when I pick up a bass, I actually tend to play kind of like Geezer Butler because, all those little bluesy licks and stuff. It's like he would do that and make it sound good. So I tried to do that too when I pick up a bass. It seems like.
Let me ask you this question: does it say rock? Is this rock bass players? Or are we in all bass nation?
This is all.
Okay.
Why do you think I told you this list was fucked? The two bands. I'm big on metal. The 2 metal bands where I would listen and find myself actually humming along to the bass rather than the guitar. One was Black Sabbath, and the other was Iron Maiden. I love Steve Harris.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love Geezer Butler on Heaven and Hell. I love he's really all over the place on that album.
I don't think Cliff Burton lived long enough to really to make the list. If he'd lived maybe a couple more albums worth, to make an all-time greats kind of a list.
He was great live,
but he was a great bass. He was a great bass player and innovative, for his time and stuff.
I saw him in '86. 5 months later.
Yeah,
not so much.
I just don't know that he lived long enough to make a.
Yeah, I was supposed to see Metallica, and Cliff had died, so I ended up seeing who ended up opening up Queensryche.
Eddie Jackson.
The Injustice for All Queensryche tour.
Huh?
He went to the. Say it again, Dane.
It was the Injustice for All. Queensryche opened up for them, and that was like the first.
Yeah, but that wasn't tour. It was the Ozzy's Ultimate Sin tour.
Well, Queensryche opened up for Maiden when I saw Maiden January 1985. They were promoting the Warning. Warning.
Love that record.
Yeah,
I remember asking you why. You said you did.
I could never get into Queensryche, man. I'm one of these. For some reason, Jeff Tate rubs me the wrong way. I can't listen to it.
I can appreciate that sentiment. I like them, but I appreciate the sentiment. Like when I listen to them now, when I go back and listen, I think of a lot of it's ridiculous, but I kind of like it still.
It's kind of like what I was saying earlier about like taking yourself too seriously. It's like he sounds like somebody who just takes himself way too seriously.
He's the Ethel Merman of heavy metal.
Even when
I was a kid in high school, that's what I called him. I was like, he's the Ethel Merman of metal.
Wow.
Oh my God. And he's like, everything's coming up, Rosa, because he's always like, they're calling you. He has that ridiculous vibrato like she does. It's the same fucking.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
but the first time I heard "Take Hold of the Flame" and he hit those high notes and "Take Hold of the Flame."
Oh, he's an amazing singer.
From that,
not taking anything away from his technical skill.
I was all in.
Yeah, dude, his technical.
But now he goes on stage dressed like Pitbull, right? He's got the hat, his head shaved, the 3-piece suit. It's like I thought I was seeing a metal band here. I'm seeing the Monopoly guy.
He was going kind of Brian Johnson on it, wasn't he? Sounds like.
Well, I think he was doing a scally cap before. Now he's wearing like the fedora. He's dressed like he's like a banker from the 1920s.
Yeah.
How are the pipes?
Who's next?
Number 7. I got no problem with this guy. He's amazing. Les Claypool.
Now,
He's
there's
a
a
rookie.
player who's phenomenal, but I can't listen to him
Really?
I'm right with you.
except for the South Park
I'm right
theme.
I think the same thing about Jocko.
Yeah, I
think
would
not
agree
Jocko
with that.
Pastorius. I can't listen to Jocko Pastorius, man.
Yeah.
It's just bang,
Mm.
The
bang,
music,
bang, bang, bang,
I'm
bang,
with you.
bang, 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 bang.
especially if you work in a music
hell.
store and somebody
Fuck
picks up
off.
the bass and they just go boom, 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 and they start doing all the Jocko licks that are in their wheelhouse. I'm like, all right, either somebody go exhume Jocko and slap him in the face for coming up with it, or kill this guy. Either ways,
I would rather listen.
either
to
way,
Les
I'm gonna
Claypool
need a
than-
shovel.
than Jocko. See, the difference there is Jocko took himself way too seriously, and Les Claypool doesn't. You know, so you can forgive
Yeah.
it. It's like the whole Primus sucks thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's like we know we suck. Fuck it. You know, kind of thing. They've got that attitude that kind of redeems it in a way. They're not trying to be
Playing bass guitar is a very boring instrument to play. So when you get these guys that really fluff it up and two-handed tapping and all that kind of stuff, it adds some
Yeah.
excitement level to
And
it.
then just
But
the
if it's
songs
it
that-
has to be musical,
Yeah,
Oh,
and
but it
serve
is,
the,
but
it
what
has
they
to
do-
serve the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say for what they do though, it does serve those songs. You know, his style. I think.
Right. For less, it does. But those songs don't serve me. That was my
Right.
Then they're not. They're not going to be playing
They're
their
not
songs on the
AM
radio.
man. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
They're not. Easy
I'm not
listening
hearing
enough
that
for
between
you.
America and Seals and
And
Groffs.
the guitar player has to play. The guitar player just can't run through 4 chords like a Metallica riff. The guitar player has to do completely things to not to get in the way of it.
Let me just say this. The other day, I'm smoking a cigar in my garage, and I had like Journey radio on, which I hardly ever listen to. I just tell Alexa, play this, play that. And she played Journey radio, and she played Foolish Heart. And what stuck out in the song was how great the bass line is in that song. So I'm on my phone going, who the fuck is playing bass? Turns out it's a guy named Bob Glob.
Oh,
And Bob used to come in my store all the time and hang out with us. I've talked 100 times to the guy. I wish I fucking said to him, let me see you fucking play bass for a minute. I would have loved to have seen him play that line. Bob Glob, everybody.
Foolish heart.
Hear me. Oh, great. Yeah, he was great. He was
That's
great.
not-
He's the
that's a
modern day
pure-
Sam
that's-
Cooke.
That's a great fucking vocal.
Yeah. The
On that
bass line was great. The bass line really stuck out to me when I was listening to that. All right, I bet you Bob Glob won't be on those lists, but he might be in my top 50.
Number 6 from Iron Maiden, Steve Harris.
Well,
All right, that tells me we're not going to see any bass players I like in this list. We're not going to see Louis Johnson, are we?
What I thought was cool about Steve Harris back in the day and the way he played with his fingers, you could hear the click, 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 click behind every note. So it added an extra rhythmic part to the music. Yeah, you click, 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 click.
Well, I think you're going to get the trendy choices now.
Yeah.
Like I bet you Bootsy Collins is on this list.
No, I doubt it. Well, maybe.
Ready
Trying to
for the
read
top
Joe's-
So
5?
someone's going to be trendy.
Ready for the top 5.
Number 5, the bass player for Led Zeppelin, John Paul Jones.
I see. For my problem is he's so much more of a musician.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Played the
Right.
keys. He played the mandolin. He
Guitar.
played some
Their
acoustic
utility
guitar.
guy. Yeah.
He is. He was that band's utility.
That's
Yeah.
one of those you don't argue with, but it's like
Yeah.
you feel like maybe you could come up with a better slot for what was that 5?
Yeah, number 5.
Yeah,
Yeah, here comes
Oh,
Geddy
I
Lee
like
coming
him.
up.
I think he was very good.
yeah.
I
But
think
if
he's
somebody said,
underrated.
okay, who would be the top 5 bass players? You probably wouldn't make. He wouldn't make your list of top 5.
Not my list,
Yeah.
but he'd make my top 10, maybe. Maybe not top 5. You might be right.
Number
Go
4,
on.
Flea. From Red
I
Hot
think
Chili
Flea is
Peppers.
often very overrated.
He doesn't make my top 50.
I really appreciate the bass lines that he does for those songs, and I think he does a lot of appropriate stuff for those songs. And he's a great live performer, and he puts on good shows and all that. But I think everybody has this idea that he's like he is a world-class bass player, but I mean that he is like the top of the heap. But I don't see that necessarily, especially when you throw out all these jazz and Motown bassists and stuff like that. Like he would even say, I think, that those guys blew him off.
Well, Hugh Caldwell just said he saw Mark King live many times and never saw anyone near him. Mark King is way better thumper on doing all the slap stuff than Flea ever was, and he sang lead. And you guys remember the band? It was Level 42. They did There Was Something About You, baby, and Lessons in Love. And you watch him play, and he's like, and he's slapping like a motherfucker and singing in perfect pitch. He was great. And then if you ever watch him when he goes off, then he goes off, and you're like, all right, everyone, just fucking hand the guy put your golden fiddle
when you
on
watch
the ground.
the Chili Peppers play and the way they jump around on stage, it's amazing that they can play instruments with so much jumping and rolling around and all the movement that they do.
And only a tube sock covering their cock.
That was the early days. And I'll tell you, the early days Chili Peppers I like. Freaky Styley, everything up to Mother's Milk, I'm good. After Mother's Milk, I don't want to hear them.
I like a few songs on Blood Sugar.
Yeah, Blood Sugar Sex Magic's all right.
Flea, that whole Flea style, it reminds me of the band Incubus. If you listen to their early stuff,
I like Incubus.
Early Incubus, like before they made it big.
Oh, okay.
They were fantastic.
I saw something one
day. Their bass
about
player is fucking great.
Fucking awesome.
He's better than
that whole
Flea.
Band was like, what the hell is going on here?
You need to listen to the album Science by Incubus. It's their greatest album, and nobody knows what the fuck it is. It's so
I have
sad.
it. Yeah.
Do you? I love that fucking album, man. That thing.
It's like S.C.I, right? It's
When that came out in 97 or whatever it was, I thought this is the future of music. This is the future of rock right here.
The vocalist was so good.
Oh, and he's so good. And then they went like completely radio friendly on the next album and just kind of blew it. I thought they really had something going, and it was like they went totally mainstream, and I was like, fuck, that sucks, man.
Was Pardon Me on Science, or was that after?
No, that was the next album where,
because that had a little bit of what they were doing earlier.
Yeah, they kept a little bit of that feel, but the Morning View is when they really sold out. Make Yourself. I don't know how we got on this subject. Sorry, guys, we were on the list.
No, but they're a great band.
I wanted to point out their bass player particularly because you should listen to and also
Lance.
Their first EP, Fungus Among Us. You got to listen to it if you like bass. Fungus Among Us by Incubus is that's a bass record.
And also, I'm a huge fan of Norwood Fisher. You guys ever hear Fishbone? The song "Bonin' in the Boneyard"? That bass line is nuts. On "Bonin' in the Boneyard."
Who is it?
It's Fishbone.
Oh, Fishbone. Okay.
Yeah, the song's called "Bonin' in the Boneyard," and that bass line is just outrageous.
I'll check that out later.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've heard that or not. Well,
give me 1 second.
Actually,
one time about Flea backstage. Flea's bass tech puts brand new strings on every bass that he plays every night. After every show, you get a brand new set of strings on every bass.
He's doing
probably because he sweats through.
Probably, I was about to say probably
the opposite of Jameson, right? Jameson used to say the funk is in the junk. He never changed his strings.
Yeah,
that's two completely different approaches. One of my good friends, TJ Armstrong, who played with oh shit, I don't know why I'm blanking. Johnny Highland down in Nashville, the friend of mine. He's been on my channel a few times. He likes a really bright poppy sound, like that with new strings. He's a new strings guy, but I like the thumpy thing, like where it pulls back in the mix a little bit, and we have a difference of opinion, and I think bass
Right.
players fall into one of those categories usually.
Johnny Highland.
Yeah, I
plays
remember that
steel
old
guitar,
video where
doesn't he?
you and him
Yeah.
went to music stores and stuff. You ran into that music store owner that was kind of a prick.
Oh yeah, that was a pawn
Yes.
shop.
Let me see your let me see your license.
Oh God, that guy. Yeah, don't remind me.
Bad memories.
All right,
Oh,
Joe.
yeah.
What's number 3?
Number 3, one of my favorites, John
Getty
Entwistle from The Who.
Entwistle was great.
Mm.
To me, he's just. I mean, I don't want to say he's just a rock player. I mean, he's a rock player. Great.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a better bass player than John Paul Jones, but those guys should be like right next to each other in the 14, 15 range.
Well,
I
I know
almost
Geddy
feel-
Lee's coming up.
I do kind of almost feel like, you know, he was a bit too straightforward rock for me to put in a top 5 of bass players or something. You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
I don't know why, but I just feel like if we were doing, for instance, if we were doing a top 10 of drummers, I wouldn't put the Who's drummer. I wouldn't put Keith Moon, you know,
You
in
wouldn't.
there. Although he's, you know, solid and great for what he does, I just don't think I would put him in a top 10.
You
You've got all
can
those-
add a 0 when he's not in mine. He wouldn't be in my top 100. I am not a Keith Moon fan.
But you see what I'm saying? I mean, he's a
Yeah, oh yeah, I get
you
it.
can't deny though he was good for that.
He's
band.
great because he was in a great band, but as a drummer, I mean,
And he
Well,
had that
I mean,
whole
I can
wild
s-
man persona, and it was part of the stage presence and the whole package, you know. So I get it. I get the Keith Moon thing, but I just wouldn't put him in my top 10. But I think Entwistle
Yeah.
kind of goes along with that. He's kind of in that same
I agree.
category.
But Entwistle's a better
He's the better
bass
musician.
player
Yeah.
than Moon
I
is a
agree
better
with that.
as Moon is a
I
drummer.
have a feeling that Entwistle wasn't consistent though. From night to night, the way he's just riffing through stuff. If you took a recording of Who Are You or whatever, and then you listen to it a week later at a different concert somewhere, it would be different. So I don't think he was consistent.
Different how? I mean, like, was he improvising?
Yeah.
Then he was improvising. That doesn't
Maybe
mean
that's
that
creativity,
he's
yeah,
bad.
man.
That's
I
He's
think he was
jazzing it
just
up.
jamming along. Yeah.
And let me guess, number one, Derek
Oh, we have-
Smalls. He
No.
wrote this.
Right.
It's a mock piece.
Well, number 2.
Number
Well,
2 is
we're
going to
number
be. Let me guess. Can I guess number 2?
Go ahead.
I already did.
I'm going to say Chris Squire.
He's an
my-
honorable mention.
What about
He's an
Geddy
honorable
Lee?
mention.
Where's Geddy?
Geddy.
at?
I already said Geddy. Lee,
Crowbar
so-
got it. Crowbar got it before. Yeah. Geddy Lee is number 2.
Wow.
Again, as a
Wow.
musicianship overall, I mean, Geddy doing like the bass pedals and doing keyboards with one hand and fret notes on a bass and singing the whole, I mean, all that shit and bouncing back and forth. I mean, musicianship wise,
They're,
No,
they're
he's
probably
great.
going to
He's a
say.
monster.
They're probably going to say Sheehan number 1.
Geddy Lee beats out John Paul Jones and Entwistle by fucking.
That's what I was
miles
going to
for me.
ask. Who's got more talent, Geddy Lee or John Paul? John Paul
Oh
Jones.
Jesus, that's not even a contest
Mm.
for me.
I think Geddy Lee's a great fucking bass player. I do think he's above John Paul Jones, and I mean a better
Even-
above in talent.
What about in the
He's-
keyboard? What about on his keyboard skills?
No, John Paul Jones is probably a better keyboard player. But I mean, I don't think Geddy usually does a lot of one-handed stuff or the Taurus pedals. I mean, not to take anything away. We're talking about bass players. Geddy was great. Is he in my top 5? No. Is he in my top 10? Probably not.
But see,
I
Geddy
think I
Lee
would have more
also
funk guys.
Geddy Lee was doing the lead vocal too. You know, it's like be like if
Now I'm just
Entwistle
going to
was
say
awful
this because
trying
I'm just
be
going to take a
Plant.
stab
You
at
know
it.
what I mean?
Any list, and I'll say this: any list that doesn't have Jameson in the top 10 is no list.
It's not a
so I
list.
have to say he has to be
Yeah.
number 1 on this list.
Or what's that chick from the Wrecking Crew too, man? I think she's left.
Carol
Oh,
Kay.
K.
Okay.
Carol K.
I mean,
Yeah,
I know
she
that.
was
I know
good,
that
but I don't think
has
she's as good
gotten-
as.
Agree, but she was a pocket player, though. Is what I'm getting at. She's one of those.
Well, there's think about all those pocket players. You had Jameson from Motown,
Mhm.
Donald Duck Dunn
Dunn.
from Stax, in the Memphis in Muscle Shoals. You had what's his name? Hood. Is it David Hood? And then you had Ronnie Baker playing the Philadelphia Soul stuff on all like the Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Another great bass song, Bad Luck by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Ronnie Baker is killing it on that tune. Bernard Edwards from Chic is fantastic. Louis Johnson. To me, Marcus Miller should be in the top 5 of anybody's list. Marcus Miller's fucking phenomenal. But let's see who number 1 is.
Are we ready for number 1?
They're probably going to say Sheehan.
Okay.
There's no way they're going to say
With the number 1 on this list, apparently no one else felt the same way that Brad did because it's Cliff Burton from Metallica.
Wow.
This list needs to
not
be
number
burned
1.
immediately. The list and the creator of the list
blows.
should be hung.
And let me
from their
read some of the
testicles.
honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. You have number 11, John Deacon from Queen. Number
Good bass-
12,
good bass
Chris
player.
Squire from Yes.
What about McVie from Fleetwood Mac? I thought he was always a good pocket bassist
Steady.
too.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Number 13 is Jocko.
Yeah, well, Clive's better than Jocko.
For pushing boundaries, I'll give Jocko points, but that's all he gets points on from me.
Number 14.
Well, he was great in Weather Report. That solo record he did with Donna, Teen Town, and all that stuff. I mean, it's amazing stuff, but I'm not listening to it.
Number 14 is one of my fucking favorites, Jack Bruce.
Yeah,
he's
these
a
are
great
all
player.
rock guys.
Yeah. Someone I don't. Okay, this guy John Young. I guess he's from
Dream Theater.
Yeah. Lemmy at 16. Billy Sheehan at 17. Number 18 is David Ellefson from Megadeth.
Megadeth.
They put Duff
Consistent.
McKagan at 19.
Oh, God, Duff.
Robert Trujillo at 20.
He's actually
He's
a
good.
pretty good bass player.
Number 21, Victor Wooten. He's pretty amazing.
Oh, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah. he's
Wooten
good.
should be in the top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. I
forgot
told
about
you this
Wooten.
list
The
was
shit he's
fucked.
played on Bella Fleck and the Flecktones alone. Forget about how amazing he is in his own stuff, but just the Bella stuff alone should get that.
Watch that live version he does of playing Amazing Grace. It's friggin' amazing.
Number 22
Great.
is Chris Novoselic from Nirvana.
Oh my God, he's awful.
23
Except that
is-
time he
I
threw
wouldn't
the
say
bass
he's
up and it
awful.
came
He's,
down,
you
landed
know,
on
he
his
was,
head.
He was
No,
right for that band.
He
You
was
know?
right for the band, yeah, but I mean, like, pretty pedestrian
But
bass
top
lines.
20 bass player of all time? No way.
Right.
Not even close.
23 is Justin Chancellor, who was from Peach and
I would put him higher.
Tool.
Yeah, I'd put him higher on the
okay.
list.
Number
I think he's
24.
creative.
Sorry, go ahead, Brad.
Oh, I was going to say, I think Justin Chancellor is creative in the way he uses effects.
Yeah,
and they were good.
Dave,
Good.
in a list of 1,000 bass players, where would you put 24? It's Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue.
Yeah, currently not available.
25,
sucks.
Jason Newsted. And that's it.
Local boy.
All right.
Oh my
so-
God, I saw a
Wait,
list
whoa,
best
whoa, whoa.
albums of all time.
No
Holy
Adam
shit.
Clayton talking about sucking.
Oh, my
No.
goodness.
Have you
All right.
seen
From
his
YouTube.
Fender ad?
No.
It's embarrassing how
Who?
poorly he plays. Adam Clayton from U2.
No.
Oh God, it's just weak.
So
He's-
to me, like the guys who
Steady, though.
like Marcus Miller should always be on the list. Maybe Freddie Washington, I think, is phenomenal. All these guys. David Hungate is one of my all-time favorite bass players.
Toto.
Did the first 4 Toto records, then went to Nashville and started doing all Nashville stuff. But like Louis Johnson, Ronnie Baker. I mean, think about those. Here's the thing people don't realize. Philly Soul, right? Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, all the Teddy Pendergrass stuff, the OJs, the Stylistics, the Delphonics, and the Spinners all had the same band. Those guys played on everything, and they were fucking killing it. Ronnie Baker's one of my. I'm telling you guys, look up the song "Bad Luck." Patrick
Look-
Ahern's great.
Look in the private chat, Dave. I found this.
25. Oh yeah, I gotta go. Yeah, let's bang it out.
Well, I got to put Michael to bed. I'll be back in about 5.
All right.
He's been out there alone for about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes now.
So yeah, I would say, like I'm a big Norwood Fisher fan from Fishbone. I was a huge Fishbone fan. You got a call? Oh,
I think what's
We can't
weird
have
about
Brad.
yeah, he's muted or something. I think what's weird about a bass player is it's hard to really notice the bass player if he's just playing steady and consistent and with a good tone. It's not really noticeable until you make a mistake, and then people are like, something didn't sound right. But it's really tricky to be a bass player that stands out if you're not jumping up and down.
No,
double
I don't agree with that. I think you listen to La Jameson and you listen to guys like Ronnie Baker, they're playing the fucking pocket. And when they play it, it makes your head move.
If
And it's
you
not
want to
just-
get up and dance at the show, it's the bass players making you do that. And if you don't want to get up and dance or get up and move in some way, whether it's jump around or slam dance or something, then the bass player's not doing his job. That's the way
You
I-
listen to songs like Disco Inferno, and that bass player is grooving.
Oh, there is
Right.
no man. I saw this band at a casino. They were from Memphis, Tennessee. I'll never forget it. I saw them at a casino in Evansville, Indiana. They'd come up to play a show, and they were called Black Widow. And I was so fucking blown away by this bass player, dude. This guy was fucking legit, man. Big old black dude, man, and he was fucking throwing down. And I was like, this dude. But the whole place, all night long, from the first song to the last, on the dance floor, everybody. And if you were sitting down, you were still moving. And the only reason you weren't on the dance floor is because there wasn't enough space, to dance.
Brad, do you watch that? Did you watch that channel? That guy, it's like PD Bass. He goes over all the bass songs of and breaks them down. The genius of some of the tunes. I think the channel is called PD Bass. Oh, it's a great channel. He's a good player too.
PD Bass. I'll look it up. Hang on. See,
Yeah, he broke down a song recently, and it was God, he played the lick from it. I'm like, man, you pulled that out. Oh, he broke down Kaja Gugu's bass line, and that fucking bass line is hard. I actually watched him play it. A guy's name is Nick in the chat. Help me out. Help me out in the chat. The guy from Kaja Gugu. And he's playing with Howard Jones, and they're doing Too Shy. And his bass line in that song, I'm like, this guy's a fucking unsung monster. Yeah. But that bass line, it's like, boom. Yeah.
Let's see another. That's another one. It's just like that where the bass is doing a lot of the heavy lifting in that song.
All the lifting.
And the guitar is doing like the kind of rhythmic thing on top.
Thank you, Nick Beggs. Great. And you can look up on YouTube Nick Beggs with Howard Jones playing Too Shy, and it's close up on him, and you're like,
Howard Jones is one of those great songwriters nobody ever talks about from the 80s.
Fantastic.
I love Howard Jones stuff.
I love him, and I love Thomas Dolby.
On that note, I got to go, guys.
All righty. Hey, let me know if you want to do that polemics podcast where we just go off on everything.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've pretty much transported it onto this channel tonight, did we?
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to keep this one a little protected.
I got you. We'll see you guys later, man. It's been
All
fun.
right, sounds good,
Brad.
All
right, later, man.
See you, buddy.
Oh, thank God he was helpful tonight. He almost killed me
What
last
about
week.
The Cure? Dave?
Well, I love the Cure. I love the bass, and I love the bass six, because a lot of times he played a bass six. Someone said Larry Graham. I love the old Graham Central Station, and I like the old Sly and the Family Stone. I actually really like the bass player who played on the album when Larry Graham left. You know, that if you want me to stay, I'll be around today to get a message over to you now. Great stuff. All right, let's see what these 25 have to offer us and how fast we can bang it out. And by the way, Jerry,
we got 15 minutes to do 25.
Yeah, we can bang it. We did 25 last week at 10 minutes. Jerry, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
The gold guitar. Did somebody have a question about the gold guitar? I thought I saw a question in the chat about it. But when is that one getting put together?
I don't know. Next few days.
How was
I did a final buff on it, and it's
how
good.
was Jim Casey feeling when you saw him at the chat at the
I'm
jam?
glad you asked. I got to tell you, man, he looked really good.
Right.
He was doing other people's projects, so I kind of brought up again. I go, hey, I got this amp I need you to put together. He goes, bring it over. So,
oh, good. He's good. I
So,
love that.
and
guy.
he looked good when I saw him.
good.
So, whatever treatment he's getting or whatever's going on with him, I believe is working for him. And he's
Excellent.
playing. I played with him Thursday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. How was that?
it was good. You know how the jam is.
Yeah. Okay.
People
But I
dance.
have some notes of how he thought you played. Let me just read them here. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
could give a fuck.
It's a great bit, though.
performance. Yeah.
No, but it's a great bit. Well, I have some notes here that he wanted me to pass on to you. It's a fucking. I don't care what anyone says, folks. That's a funny fucking bit.
Okay.
All right. Joe, what do we got?
But yeah,
25
I'll show it
top
when it's ready.
albums.
Don't worry. I'll show it.
Okay, very good.
I gotta find
25 of the best albums of all time. Now, I have a hard time believing that somebody's going to put the Blue Nile at number one, but I would. All right, let's go.
I'm going to
Are
say
you
it's not in
finding-
the 25 either.
It won't be in there.
Yeah.
No.
It's not.
I mean,
You know, it's actually a top 10 list, but like the other one, it's got the it goes
Oh,
up
okay.
to 25.
Even easier.
Okay. Starting at number 10. Oh God. Wait, let me make sure I can see your
Is
reaction.
this of all time, or is this like a rock
This
star?
is all time best album.
So Sinatra and stuff like that can be in here. Country albums can be in
They
here.
won't be, but they won't be. But yes, they can be.
Number 10, American Idiot, Green Day.
What?
Wait, is this worst albums of all time? Because that would be
This
in my
list
top
just
10.
lost its cred with
This is
one.
be-
The worst
friggin'
An
pop
album is a
song.
collection of
Albums.
music or songs on a disc or tape. They may include compilation, soundtrack, or remix albums. This list includes the best albums of all time.
According to what 13-year-old girl? That
Exactly.
Okay, number 9, Nevermind, Nirvana.
all time.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. It was a
If
good
somebody
album.
has that in their opinion of being in the, I can live with that. Somebody with that opinion. The other one I can't. That other person would be
I can't see
tearing
it
down
being
their
that
clothes
high.
and running through the woods
Okay.
because I'm coming with my shotgun.
Number 8, personally not a favorite, but it was very big. Thriller, Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Michael Jackson's Thriller
It's not even his
is
best album. right?
not even as good as Off the Wall. So if Off the Wall's not on this list, this guy got the shotgun.
it was
It's
a
off
big
the
record,
wall.
though. We'll
It's
say that it
album
was a
sales.
big
A
record.
bit- it was a
for
big
long-
record, but
it
not
was
a
on
great
the
record.
chart
Great
for
music
number
video.
one for months.
Number 7, A Night at the Opera, Queen.
Queen.
That's not their best album.
Night at the Opera is not as good as A Day at the Races, which is not as good as Sheer Heart Attack.
The game.
Hannibal says all of Sinatra's Capitol stuff. I will say A Swingin' Affair is one of the greatest records of all time. And so I'm right there with Hannibal.
You give me Frank Sinatra with Tommy Dorsey, and I don't need anything else. Anything
Oh,
else.
see, I like him with Nelson Riddle.
I love Tommy Dorsey. Okay, number 6, The Wall, Pink Floyd.
Not even their best album.
The
Again,
Waltz.
it's their 4th best album. Or 5th.
Number 5,
6th.
Revolver, The Beatles.
That's their best album.
Mm.
Arguably.
I always shift back and forth between that and Abbey Road.
I switch between that and Rubber Soul.
Number 4, Led Zeppelin 4. At number 4.
I can understand that somebody would put that as their favorite album of Led Zeppelin, but it's not their best album. Physical Graffiti is.
Physical Graffiti's a beast. Okay, number 3, Abbey Road, The Beatles.
That wouldn't make my list.
Number 2, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, The Beatles.
Fuck this list. What the fuck?
Well, there's two things. Okay, this list is Beatles dominated, but they're not even getting the fucking order right on the albums.
So far, the two albums, Abbey Road, and what was the other one?
Revolver.
I don't. No. Revolver was the good one.
Yeah,
Abbey Road and Sgt. Pepper. I don't think are as good as Rubber Soul.
Rubber Soul's
Yeah, I'll
awesome.
agree with that.
Shit,
I'll
Rubber
agree
Soul's
with the
fucking great.
Sgt. Pepper not being as good as Rubber Soul.
And coming in
And
at
then
number one,
Revolver.
The Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd.
So there's two bands, and besides. And can I just remind everybody that number 10 was American Idiot?
Yeah. Number 11.
What happened to
were
Velvet
always-
Revolver?
Let's go from 11 to 25 now. Number 11 was OK Computer by Radiohead.
Of all time.
Of all time. Number 12 is Ride the Lightning by Metallica.
That's their best album, but I wouldn't be in my top 100.
Number 13 is Pet Sounds, the Beach Boys.
That always ends up
Overrated.
There's karaoke
It is
on
overrated.
bass.
I
Number
like some stuff on
14
it.
is Master of Puppets by Metallica.
Wrong.
15, Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses.
Wrong.
Number 16, How I Wish.
No.
How I Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd.
Hmm.
A great album.
That's the best album they've listed by Pink Floyd so far.
Number 17, Meteora, Linkin Park.
No.
Linkin Park.
Number 18, Rubber Soul, the Beatles.
So Linkin Park beat out Rubber Soul.
This is like a 16-year-old girl made this.
Number
list.
19,
Agreed.
Paranoid by Black Sabbath.
Oh.
Well, it just fell right in where it should.
Yeah. Number 20, Kid A by Radiohead.
God.
Radiohead appears twice in the top 25 of all time.
Now, the little girl's room that wrote this, I can see the posters on her wall already.
Yeah.
Mary Jane Rottencrotch.
Surprised Justin Bieber's not in here.
Coming in at, wait till you see number 25. Coming in at number 21, The Black Parade, My Chemical Romance.
That is awful. Because you guys know I teach Angelina and we used to do all the Green Day stuff. We've done that whole album. I want to hang myself. That album is terrible.
Sometimes
When I was a young, oh my God. The fact that I know the title track makes me embarrassed.
Number 22, coming again in the 25 is Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park.
Linkin Park's killing it.
And
He's got a big poster in that room.
Linkin Park twice beat out this album, Back in Black by AC/DC.
Which it should. Linkin Park's so much better than AC/DC.
Number 24, To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. And
Now I'm just not
finally,
even gonna speak.
rounding out the top 25 at the 25
Bob
best
Dylan.
album of all time.
Bob Dylan.
No, Fallen by Evanescence.
Who's a 16-year-old girl is spot on. No, it's spot on.
Oh my God.
She got it. She nailed that one.
Yeah. I mean, that
Nailed
list is
it.
awful.
Oh my goodness.
Does it say who
Now-
that list? Who compiled?
Yeah, I was
the
just going to
list?
say.
I don't know, but there's a list.
Compiled
Yeah,
that list.
top 10 greatest music artists of all time.
Define artist.
God.
Well, I'll tell you right now how they define artists. A music
What are you
artist.
shooting with, Jerry? Do you see the question in the chat? Someone wants to know what you shoot with. Nitro? Because I know you use
Acrylic
aerosol.
lacquer. It's
Acrylic.
all spray cans.
A
So-
music artist or musician is a person who composes or performs music, such as songwriters, composers, singers, and instrumentalists. This list includes the most acclaimed music artists of all time.
Acclaimed. This is going to be fucking interesting.
Coming in at number 10, Elvis Presley.
This
Well,
is now the top 10 performers of all time?
Top 10
Music
music
artists.
artists of all time.
Okay, Elvis Presley, number 10. Interesting.
Yep.
And he got beat out by Eminem at number 9.
the white version of Elvis.
Not even. Not even. Coming in at
Another
number
guy
8,
that stole black music. from
AC/DC.
people.
AC/DC is an important band.
Yeah. Coming in at number 7, beating out AC/DC, is Metallica.
Why do these lists love Metallica so much?
I don't know, but Metallica got their ass beat by Green Day at number 6.
Oh, as they should. I would love to see that battle royale, though.
Oh my God! You're
Get them all in
banished
a
to
ring.
a prison. Let me ask you a question, Dave. You get your ass banished to a prison island. They're gonna play They're gonna play one band the whole time you're there, and but we're gonna give you a choice. It's nonstop, 24/7. Green Day or Metallica. What are you going with?
Oh, I'd go Metallica.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd go Metallica. I don't hate them. I just think they're terribly overrated.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you right now, they put me to my death, and they're like, you get to listen to one song before you die. I'm going to say, play the fucking Green Day song and hurry it up with that fucking The Poison. Let's go.
Coming in at number 5, Pink Floyd.
Floyd's good.
Coming in at number 4 is Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin.
Can't argue Led Zeppelin.
Coming in at number 3 is Michael Jackson.
I can argue that. He had 2 albums. 2 solo albums worth of shit. I like the Jacksons, and I like the Jackson 5. But no.
Coming in at number 2 is Queen.
Okay.
And number 1, the Beatles.
Yeah, it's a typical type of list with
Well,
a couple of horrible.
Now
Stevie Wonder doesn't get the love in
Green
these
Day, but
lists.
They're talking about musical artists now. We were talking about Sinatra earlier.
Let's go
it's
from
like,
11
how
to
is he not?
25. We got a few minutes left. Number 11 is the Rolling Stones.
Great band. They should be in the top 5.
Number 12 is Linkin Park.
And the girl is back on writing the list.
Naming band. Just naming
Number
band.
13 is Nirvana.
I don't think if somebody said to me, write down 1,000 bands that are good, I don't think Linkin Park would make the page. And I would be struggling trying to come up with
this
bands.
list is
I
most
can
important
honestly
musical
say-
artists of all time.
I do not think I've ever heard a
is a
song
weird
by this
list.
next band. Number 14 is Imagine Dragons.
I have heard
I've seen them on the on like TV once, but I have
Radioactive.
no idea.
Was the song Radioactive, I think?
That's the
Yeah,
firm.
they're not good.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Arctic Monkeys. I have no
No,
idea.
no,
what
there
Imagine
was
Dragons do.
Number
the
15 is Iron Maiden.
Yeah, Imagine Dragons, Iron Maiden, flip a coin.
Yeah, Maiden got stuck sandwiched between Imagine Dragons and Radiohead at 16. 17.
Radiohead is another one of those bands, and I'm sorry if you like them, but they're terribly overrated.
Yeah,
They're good.
I think they had
But
2
they're-
great albums. That's all I know.
But they're an overrated band. I think Metallica had 2 good albums, Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning. I'm not a Master of Puppets fan.
17 is David Bowie.
Another one who I
18
think is overrated.
is Guns N'
It's
Roses.
too bad he's passed away, though. I mean, it's too bad.
Number 19 is your favorite Dave, Bob Dylan.
Oh, he's not overrated.
Number 20, Panic at the Disco. I think the girl is back.
Yeah.
She's back.
Number 21, that was
It's
just
Snow
seen by
Patrol.
Panic at the Disco, is Black Sabbath.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
They're
you
so
should be
neck
able to
and
take
neck
a
of
list
all
unless
time.
you're at least like 60 years old because you haven't experienced the music. When you put Panic at the Disco, it's just proof you haven't experienced enough music to know what's been good. you
Yeah.
know, of all time.
Let me just address you, Caldwell. I'm not in 33. 70s Bowie's Rules. So Ziggy Stardust is a fantastic album. But I think, what's the one that's after that? Diamond Dogs? After that, every album has like 1 or 2 good songs. And before that, every album has maybe 2 or 3 good songs. There's just so much filler in his catalog that I am sick of Bowie. Because I find it like people used to tell me to go check out this album, like Low. I mean, Low's has Sound and Vision is a great song. Again, every album has 2 or 3 decent songs, and the rest is like, killing zombies with it in Shaun of the Dead. Go ahead.
Number 22, Jimi Hendrix.
You know what? I gave a lesson today and I was talking about Hendrix and I'm thinking to myself, why am I talking about Jimi Hendrix? Because I'm not a huge fan. But you know what? Jimmy was a really good rhythm player.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And and people don't understand that he had a groove in his rhythm. And that's what I was trying to teach. And I'm like, this is really like, it's a Hendrixy thing that I was trying to teach. And I'm like, his leads I'm not so in love with, but I do love his rhythm playing, especially when he played stuff like Bold as Love, Castles Made of Sand, stuff that's real eclectic in the playing. And, but anyways.
Number 23 is Coldplay.
Oh,
I've got it. Friggin' Gwyneth Paltrow made this list. She's the one that created this list.
This is one fan that says Coldplay. From this one fan comment, Coldplay will forever be the epitome of music.
The pity of music, more like.
Number 24, Elton John.
I just want to say, people, listen. When you feed your children carbohydrates only diets, their brain is suffering. They actually think that these bands are good. Imagine Dragons. You're doing this to your kids, folks.
Well, I actually know one song by the number 25 greatest artist of all time. And it's because they did a song, was on the soundtrack of Suicide Squad, 21 Pilots.
I don't know anything by them. But by the name alone, I hate them. And you can't judge a book by its cover, but it sure is fun. I don't like that band just on the name. Someone said R.I.P. Robert Blake. Did Robert Blake die?
Yeah, he just died
the other day.
All right.
Well,
he didn't die.
Next week we got the top 10 songs of all time.
Excellent. How about bands like Thin Lizzy? That's a good band. I like that one, Martin.
Band.
But how'd ZZ Top not make the list? Important artist.
They never get it.
Because My Chemical Romance had to be on there with Linkin Park.
And you know what? No Van Halen.
You need a list that is compiled by a big
Linkin Park ends up on a list 4 or 5 times. Well, I exaggerate, and Van Halen didn't make it.
I don't think you're exaggerating.
We need to know who has compiled the list to make it interesting, because that's just listing off bands. We need to know who compiled this list.
You know what's funny is I always notice that people love to talk about Dwayne Allman, put him in every list, or Dickie Betts, but no one ever says Barry Oakley. Barry Oakley was a good bass player.
Mm-hmm.
People just don't like the jam band stuff. I'll tell you who's a great bass player that no one talks about is Mike fucking Rutherford. Go listen to that early Genesis stuff he's playing. It's like, what the fuck? He was great. Even the stuff he plays on Abacab is excellent.
And that's all I have for lists tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
all right. That's all we have for Fran's list. Listen to the album Pile Driver by Quo. Is Quo status quo? Is that like calling Foghat the Hat? Oh, excellent. Speed for Hire says Bruce Springsteen got COVID and the canceled shows. He was triple vaxxed and the poster boy for Pfizer. Well, let me tell you, he's nobody's boss.
Yeah.
Such a sissy. God, I can't stand him. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, you know what's so fucked up is I where the hell was I? I was at a lesson today, and the people were wearing masks like these.
Yeah, good call, Brad. Schadenfreude. Shameful joy.
People are out there still wearing masks. I drove past somebody there, and somebody in my gym, this guy wears a mask, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, oh, good thing you're breathing in all your fucking sweat and disgusting everything else.
Yeah, people that wear masks in cars.
The only two people out there that should still be wearing masks is one, Michael Myers, two, Jason Voorhees. That's it. Everyone else, no mask.
Yeah. What happened to Jerry's picture?
Jerry,
you still there?
Jerry has left the building.
I think he's been having internet issues. Yeah, I still see it 2-speed. It's absolutely nuts. I would make an announcement if anybody in the chat is driving with a mask on, but I honestly can't imagine the abuse that somebody would have to take to watch this show that would actually still wear a mask.
Well,
It takes a certain level of.
Today's March 13th, and I remember March 13th being the exact anniversary when all the shit came down 3 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. I remember it was a Friday. And
Don't forget, we also want to give a big shout out to Matt. It's his birthday.
happy birthday, Matt.
yeah, happy birthday, Matt. I bet you he eats a little cake, and that's fine.
Maybe whatever he wants to do is fine. People always say that to me, like, Dave, I don't want to tell you, but I'm like, what do I care? It's not me. I don't eat it. Although I had a dream that I took 2 sugar packets and ate them, and I'm like, why am I doing this? What happened?
I didn't do nothing. It don't look bad, but I didn't do
No,
nothing.
but who left? Somebody had to have
No,
left.
it readjusted the ratio.
Oh, right, because of Jerry. That's right. Oh, this ratio looks pretty good.
Yeah.
We have this, and then we have this.
70s.
What do you guys like better? The 3 sides to every story by Extreme
Yeah.
or podcast? Oh yeah, Jerry's thing finally left. Anyways, folks, I think that's it. Oh, wait a second. That's a nice Hulk doll you got back there.
Which one?
The one you got the big Hulk there.
This one,
Yeah.
Joe Fixit, the gray, and then the big talking Hulk.
Talking Hulk. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good Hulk. And then it looks like he's got Rupert Pupkin behind him.
Yep.
Who? Oh, yeah.
It's
here.
De Niro in Taxi
Yeah,
Driver.
yeah.
With the mohawk.
Yeah.
Who would have thought he'd become a screaming liberal?
Oh, yeah. Isn't that a fucking heartbreak?
He's pathetic. My favorite lately, I was watching Don Rickles, and he's like, Robert De Niro's here. He's one of the greatest actors of all time. Ask him. The way Rickles is like, ask him. I'm fucking dying. Rickles, man, that's a
look at
dying
his
breed.
career.
That's somebody
I mean, he was a great actor, but he wasn't a flexible actor. I mean, like he had
Who's a
certain
great
roles
actor?
that he did good.
De Niro?
Huh?
De Niro's good at
Yeah.
playing himself. The fucking
know
was
what?
terrible in
I like-
Awakenings.
I
He's
like
fucking
him
awful
better.
in that.
Yeah, if he's playing a friggin' mobster, he's doing great.
I love
Hey,
the guy better when he kept to himself and refused to do interviews, because the minute he started opening his fucking mouth, all respect went out the window.
Yeah, he sucks. All these fucking idiots, they get into the whole, anyways, the whole anti-Donald Trump. Folks, whether you like it or not, that is your fucking 47 president. Trump's going to win again, as he should. And then he can clean house. And then we can get fucking DeSantis in there for the fucking next 8 years. He's the Bon Jovi of acting. Bon Jovi's going, wait a second, what? No, he sucks.
Don't lump me in with De Niro.
I will say this. De Niro's excellent in Midnight Run. He's horrendous in Cape Fear. Cape Fear, I'm like, there's a troll doll out here. Oh, no, it's De Niro acting as the tough. Yeah, we've seen it.
Try and do a Southern accent. That was tough.
Him in Cape Fear is terrible. Him in fucking in Heat, it's terrible. What's the other movie he did that I fucking hate? Awakenings is just.
He was good in Ronin.
Yeah, but again, he's playing
That was a good
himself.
movie.
You see,
Yeah.
he sees Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man perform acting, circles around people, and he's like, I'm going to do Awakenings. Oh, it's terrible. I saw that. Yeah, Biden blamed Trump.
There's one scene in Awakenings that's unintentionally funny. It's when he he comes out of it, but then he's starting to revert back, and he comes across the room, and when he's going across the floor, he's like, "Ugh," like you were just doing it. It's unintentionally funny.
Yeah, that's the scene I'm talking about. It's horrendous. Yeah. What was the movie where he was the stepdad who was like, I know a thing or two about a thing or two?
Is that Meet the Fockers?
Oh, yeah. Is that Meet the Parents?
Meet the Parents?
That's I can't even watch that. It's unwatchable to me. And then Meet the Fockers, when they bring in Barbara Streisand, forget it.
If you got Ben Stiller in one ear and De Niro on the other, I'm going to just fucking hang myself.
Yeah, I'm not a big Stiller fan. No, he's done some good stuff. Something About Mary was a good role for him.
Fantastic.
And that's about it.
Oh, This Boy's Life. That's the one where the kid's like in military school or something. He's young.
No, was that DiCaprio that played his son in that?
I don't know. But I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys watched the Don Rickles. They had like a special for him. It was on like Spike TV. You can catch it on YouTube.
Oh yeah, it was DiCaprio.
When Martin Scorsese's talking about him and De Niro, he's like, yeah, when me and Bobby get together, it's usually accepting awards. He comes across as such a fucking douchebag. Both Scorsese and De Niro, like, they're just unlikable and unfunny. But if you guys get a chance to watch it, watch what a couple of cocksuckers these two are. They just think they're funny, but they're not. They're actually like a couple of elitist dickheads. It's like, oh yeah, fucking Scorsese, your movies are so fucking great. Mean Streets sucks. Taxi Driver's okay. Raging Bull's unwatchable. I'm sorry. It's a depressing fucking stupid movie. Goodfellas, I'm going to give you. Color of Money, I liked. Casino was good. The one with, what was the one that he got the Oscar for?
Irishman?
No. The one that's set in Boston.
Oh, I know what you think. Yeah, The Departed.
The Departed sucks.
I hated that.
Sucks. Yeah, Jason Statham I like.
He's good.
Yeah.
You ever seen Crank 1 and 2? They're insane.
Yeah, my buddy's in Crank. My buddy plays the guy who plays the cab driver when he goes, it's Al Qaeda.
No, Brad, he was talking about Scorsese.
Joe, you remember the cab driver in Crank, and he pulls him out of the car and he goes, Al Qaeda, and everyone's like, is that what he said, Al Qaeda or something like that? But that was my buddy. Oh no, yeah, no. I'm talking about Scorsese. What his movies that he directed? Mean Streets. Yeah, they happen to all have De Niro in them, except for that one. But he also wasn't in. Oh no, he was in The King of Comedy, and I enjoyed The King of Comedy.
He wasn't in After Hours with Griffin Dunn,
and he wasn't in The Last Waltz.
Yeah.
Or Shine a Light. Oh. All right, you guys ready to call the show?
I'm out. I'm done.
That sounds about right.
Good night, everybody.
Everyone, listen, we want to say good night to everyone. We had a great time. I want to thank Brad for coming on. Brad, I'll talk to you soon. I'll send you a contact for you for some string stuff. I'll reach out to him first to make sure that that's who actually is the guy to talk to, because we're in a different part of the United States. And then everybody else, listen, I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us. It was a lot of fun. And we shall see you on what's called the Flism Flasm. Very good. Anyone else? Any guys have to say anything? Oh, you're typing in the chat. All right, everyone. Very good.
Okay, goodbye, Ted.